Hey, what's
Hey,
good?
how you doing, bro? Good to see
I'm
you today. Good
I'm
to see
doing
you.
great. Yeah,
How things your way? You overseas now, aren't you?
yeah. As usual. Yeah. In Singapore for a couple of days. Then hopefully gonna be heading back. Probably gonna come your way in Dubai.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah. Dubai is nice and hot there, bro. You know, here it's hot. It's
but it's
hot
hot
in
too. But
Dubai.
it's humid and hot, so it's very musty. So it's not as yeah.
Refreshing as Dubai because it gets hot here, but it's not like a normal hot. It's like a
Yeah, but
scalding hot but dry. I think. What do you believe?
no, it's like it's like the problem with Dubai. I mean, with Singapore, it's very humid.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's very humid, and while Dubai is more it's drier, and then you have AC everywhere, so you have
Comfort.
more indoor activities that you can actually do within
Mm-hmm.
Dubai, compared to Singapore. And it's very, I mean, it's worse than the R. It's very like
Humid.
muggy and stuff like that. So it's humid, so you don't feel yeah, it can be suffocating. Yeah,
I remember the last time I was in Singapore. We were together, as a matter of fact,
that is
and
correct.
it was a nice nightlife somewhat, but it wasn't anything like Dubai. Nothing like Dubai or even New York. It was nothing like that, but it was decent. How
It
was the
was
nightlife
decent.
down over there now?
It's same thing. The place Clark Gate still lit, and then you have
Mm-hmm.
Maribay Sand, which is nice. Then,
Mm-hmm.
but it's limited. It's not as because Singapore is small, what 712 kilometer squares.
Square
So you pretty
kilometers,
much
yeah.
yes. So it's very it's small. So it's not as spread out as Dubai. And then the variety of I mean you have a variety of people in exactly 79 square kilometer. Yeah. So you don't have as
Yeah.
many variety like because I mean think about Dubai. I mean you have the best restaurant, the best clubs, and all the world-renowned club are in Dubai. Like you have One Oak, you have Base, you have White. All those big names are in Dubai. I mean you can
Mm-hmm.
find. I mean
Can't
so
compete. Can't
can
compete. It's
compete, and there's
impossible.
always something new. That's a big difference. Yeah.
The thing I
So
like about both Dubai and Singapore, and maybe you can elaborate on this, is the lack of crime, the sheer lack of crime. What attributes to that? I already
that
know, but I figure I'd throw it at you.
No, that is correct. That is correct. I mean, the lack of permits in that level very similar, very very similar. I mean,
Absolutely.
exactly. Yep, 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 yep. But I
And
still, but something about the U is still more multicultural. I feel like here you have lots of Indian,
hmm
Chinese, Malay, and
hmm
local Singapore. So it's more an homogeneous look. While in Dubai, you're gonna see black, white, you know,
that's right. Every
uh,
culture.
Asian, and so you just see European. So it's like in one spot. While in
Yeah, that
Singapore,
is true.
no, you go to a club, you see it's more the same type of people. So it's not the same. It's not
And
the same at all.
also, I think Dubai is more culturally efficient than most places on the planet when it comes
Yeah, it
to
is.
not only the kind of people, but the things to see and do. Well beyond that of most places I've been in the world. And they
Yeah.
go overboard sometimes in Dubai about the efficiency of the culture. They really do.
No, yeah, they do. They do. They do.
Yeah, I enjoy that about Dubai a
No,
lot.
you can compare. You can compare, and cost-wise, Dubai is more affordable than Singapore.
Oh my God, yes, it is. Even if you got $1 billion here, you want to take advantage of good prices and the best prices in the world for just about everything, if you ask me. It
And
really
then
is.
referring to real estate, for instance, I mean, if you look
Oh
at
yeah,
real estate, you get more for your buck in Dubai than Singapore. So you don't have those nice, like those nice new home that you get in Dubai, those new neighborhood, like
exactly.
efficient neighborhood where you get everything. Just get well here like you get shoe boxes for an apartment. It costs you arm and a leg, so you don't really. It's not the same lifestyle. And I
What's an arm and
think
a leg there? What's an arm and a leg there, bro? Tell me about it. Let's say a what would it be? A 2,000 square foot home, 3,000 square foot home, two, three
In Singapore,
bedroom. Yeah,
oof, we're talking about let's say uh, let's take a look. For instance, like in the Cove, which is let's take a look.
hmm,
Like first, we don't have the very nice home. At least maybe there's place of Singapore. I don't know, but I'm looking at, for instance, 936 square feet
good lord.
apartment, uh, two bedroom. It's about $1 million. But if you look at it, it's not even. And then for 1,200 square feet, one $1.6 million.
What?
Uh, yeah, you want to get
Yeah,
three bedroom for 2,149 square feet, $3 million. So think, 3 million.
wow.
So when you look at it, it's not even. It look like a DR apartment. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
It does have this.
Well, you,
It's not the same standing as Singapore. It's like those garden style place. You like those railing in your balcony. Not all those bay window type of. So it's not. It's not even.
not even compared.
No.
Well, I tell you,
So
Dubai for $1 million, you can live down on the waterfront.
exactly, that's what I'm telling you.
Yeah,
You can
bro.
compare. You can't compare at all. And then here's the thing. You can live, let's say, Al Jadaf by the waterfront. They have very nice
Hmm.
property there. You can go to
They really do.
JBC. You can go to JBR. You have all those options. You can go if you want to get further. You can go to Damak Hills. You can.
Everywhere.
You have all those options. So, and you also have MBR. MBR one, MBR two. They have
Two, yeah.
home for like $1 million, 5 6 bedroom, like 4 5,000 square feet. So you can compare. There's no comparison. In the
And
amenities, for instance,
the quality of life, the quality on top of the good prices, cannot compare. Been
yeah,
everywhere, bro. Can't compare.
no,
Uh, Even in some of the most oldest and established neighborhoods in the world, like in London or West End in London or in France or Germany, can't compare with the or United States can't compare for the bang for the buck here in Dubai, bro. Just cannot compare. Or Abu Dhabi for that matter. Even better in Abu Dhabi, if you ask me.
yep,
But is not as you know uh, attractive as Dubai, but it's more stable there in Abu Dhabi and more wealthy, really. Um, but I'll tell you, bro, I'm happy to be here. I've been here for a long time, and I like the people, I like the culture, I like the cleanliness. I love. I mean, they have some of the most beautiful women in the entire world here, bar none. They really do, and so you can actually have a conversation with somebody and not be, what are those people called it in that group we were just in? Passport, bro. What the heck is that?
yeah. Here's the thing.
What the heck is that?
No passport, bro. Listen, I found out this thing. I was bored. I'm like, let me start because I travel a lot. So everybody was
Hmm.
telling me, yeah, you should get the YouTube channel. So I went ahead and started with the YouTube channel. Then start getting
Hmm.
across in my feed, passport, bro. Then
Hmm.
start commenting on those guys and create, and then kind of start assisting to this panel. And then I realized what it was all about. And then so I came across this guy named Foreign Only. His name is Floyd Wallace. So I thought, he's a brother. He was traveling at the time. They were planning to go to Chile. So I'm like, oh, you go to Chile? Guess what? You know, I have lots of contact there. So I gave them three contacts. One was name is Amber Zenteno. She was a Miss Las Condes, like Miss Chile. She was a
Hmm.
beauty pageant. Then I
Yeah.
introduced him to another Elisa Con. She's a Chilean German, and another one local Chilean girl. So and then one thing was
Get them
talking,
started.
get him started, and
Hmm.
then they were supposed to meet with one of them. Then they couldn't meet, so they rescheduled on a Friday. And then, as a matter of fact, uh, I even have the recorded conversation she actually sent me, and then
Hmm.
he was talking to her via Instagram,
This is a
and
passport, bro, right? This is a
passport bro.
passport, bro.
He goes by the
Okay.
name of friend only. So
Okay.
she asked him, "Okay, what do you like to eat? We can just go out for dinner." She said, "Well," she said, he said, "I want to eat you," but he said in Spanish, "Tengo ganas de comerte."
Comerte.
She was
Oh,
like,
oh.
"Huh? We haven't met, and
It's
who's this guy?" She said, "Okay, you know what?"
clown.
She told him, "I have a boyfriend. I'm happy relationship, so I won't entertain you anymore. But what I can do, I can actually show you, tell you where to go." And they said, "Maybe you don't like me because I'm black."
Oh, so it must be that inferiority complex thing.
Oh.
Wow.
And then that's pretty much when she was like, "Okay, she just got
It can't be
then I,
him. It has to be
yeah,
because he's black. Couldn't just be him.
exactly." But if you looked at the I even made a live on it on my channel. Even made a short video on on
Really.
yeah, 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 yeah. Hold on, let me see if I can pull it up. You're gonna laugh about
Yeah,
it.
pull
That's
that
pretty
up. Pull
much
it up.
a
I
synopsis of
definitely want to see
let me
that.
see. Yeah. Oh, you're gonna laugh about it. Yeah. Let's
So,
see.
I don't know. When you let the little head lead the big head, then you're in trouble. Always. 100%.
Yeah, but
Now,
I didn't think that because the thing about it, I was like, okay, this was like the first the first
meeting.
encounter. Yeah, hold on.
Yeah, that was egregious. It really was. That was
Yeah,
pretty damn stupid. I know if my sister told me somebody said that to her, I'd have to go find that air guy. Just find him and deal with him. I mean, insult women like that is just not too good. I have said things to women that's out of character, but not that far. I've said things like, hey, give me your number and I'll change your life. And they look at me and we start laughing about it because I'm not trying to denigrate, put them down, or hurt them. I'm just trying to be funny so we can actually change her life and see what happens.
you,
That kind of thing.
can you see it?
Yeah, I see the video.
Okay, listen. Hold on.
Creator on the YouTube channel for
Okay.
Floyd, traveler and content creator on the YouTube channel Foreign Only, found himself in the vibrant city of Santiago, Chile. A local woman, a professional, was introduced to him to show him around town. Their initial meetup was postponed due to Floyd's last minute cancellation, but they rescheduled for a dinner on the ensuing Friday. As the hours ticked down to their rendezvous, the woman, with hospitality in her heart, asked Floyd what he'd like for dinner. His response, however, was far from expected. Tengo ganas de comerte, he wrote, a Spanish phrase translating to "I have the desire to eat you." Initially, she assumed a mistranslation given Floyd's limited Spanish proficiency, but to her
Hmm.
astonishment, he confirmed the distasteful meaning. Feeling unsafe and objectified, she declined the dinner, choosing her safety over the encounter. Floyd's response was to accuse her of prejudice, suggesting she had cancelled because he was black. This accusation was particularly unfounded as the woman herself shares the same ethnic group with Floyd. The real issue here is not about race, but about respect and decency. Floyd seems to have become so accustomed to paying for sexual services that he has lost touch with reality when dealing with women.
Very much
Women are
so.
not objects to be used for special services, but individuals deserving of respect. Floyd has shared his decision to travel outside the United States in search of a conservative mate, a type of woman he claims is unavailable back home. This is a false narrative, as there is a diverse range of women in every corner of the world. The problem lies not in the availability of suitable mates, but in Floyd's approach and attitude towards women as he continues to travel overseas. He sells this false narrative to his fan base, making them believe these women are suitable mates, while in reality, he is paying for special services to meet his needs. This story serves as a reminder of the importance of respect and decency in all interactions, regardless of cultural or language barriers. It's a reminder that women, like all individuals, should not be objectified or used, but treated with dignity and respect. The narrative that Floyd Wallace promotes is not only false, but also harmful, undermining the values of equality and respect in relationships. This tale of Floyd Wallace is one of many, yet it serves as a stark reminder of the importance of respect and decency in our interactions, especially with those from different cultures and backgrounds. It's a call to action for us all to challenge harmful narratives and promote a culture of respect and equality. What are your thoughts on Mr. Wallace's behavior?
Damn, bro, you beat that boy like a redheaded stepchild with freckles and bifocals. I was like, damn, I don't want to get on your bad side. Oh my God, help, help. And by the way, disrespect. I said, oh shit, it's harmful, but it is. And see, that's people. When people don't know, bro, they make it up. They just make it
Yeah,
up because they don't
yeah.
want to be wrong. And this guy goes around. Of course, I don't know who he is. I've never seen his channel. I could walk past him on the street right now and couldn't tell you who it is. But just to say to somebody, I'm hungry, and my hunger is about eating you out, basically in Spanish, in her language, and to say that to her without any compunction whatsoever, that perhaps he could be, barking up the wrong tree or misinterpreting what's going on. But without fail, he insulted her, and
Yep.
and it was a kind of an egregious. What's the most sacred thing on a woman? The most sacred thing about a woman is her virtue. Her virtue is the most sacred thing, and he violated that virtue by insulting it directly. And I think that that's a shame. And not all, but he has a standard. Think about it. His standard, from what I'm just listening to your narrative, bro. You killed it. But his standard is low. Not that the women he sleep with as a passport brother are low. Most of these women don't know any damn better. They're trying to get paid, especially in third world
Exactly.
countries. They don't know that what they're doing is a detriment to them on the long run. They think they got to do what they got to do right now and get paid, and that's that. Because their family eat by that most of the times. Most of the time, those women are giving up that sex like that, the passport bro, because they are stupid, and they will pay, several $100s for what a local guy will pay $5 for. So, and they know they can make their loot that way. That's the issue. And the culture dictates that happens because these women without education, without support, and sometimes they don't have family, sometimes they don't have any support
Yep.
systems around them, they're going to give it up. They will, not because they're whores, but because that's how they eat. And then, if you got to prostitute yourself to eat, then get full. If you're going to do it, get full. But then even there's a certain level of respect in that he's probably not employing because he just told her, I want to eat you. And if that's on his mind for a chick he's never even met, a woman, a lady he never even met, and he want to put his face down between her legs, you think about that, even as a gesture. He doesn't care about his health or hers. He doesn't. Not at all. He does not care.
And
And that, oof.
but then she called me. She was like, "How can you do this? I mean, who's this guy?"
So it came back on you. Oh, that's right. You did introduce them.
Yes. I was
Oh,
like, and then let me show you the individual so you can get an idea what it's like.
for you to
Uh,
show me, man, that means it's pretty bad.
can you see?
Yeah, I think I can. Yeah, I can. Let me. Can I enlarge this? No, I can't enlarge it. I'm on my. I'm actually doing this from my. Let me turn it sideways. Maybe it'll show up side. Yeah, I
Look,
can see it now.
I was telling
Yeah,
you.
I see it.
Oh, 2 horas. Amiga. 2 horas. Amiga, what are you doing? No, no, no me gritas. I'm trying to text you. Ya, mi cash. Ya, 2 horas y cash y let's go, Joe. No, no.
Wow. Wow.
I was saying wait so I can go grab my stuff in the vehicle.
that's the.
The guy.
That was it.
Kind of a low rent conversation, bro.
Okay. Oh, ya, me voy. I just 2 horas son 100,000.
Oh, the price just went up.
Oh, yeah, sure. Cool, I got you. No, me voy, me quiero ir. Let's
I want
go.
to go. Give me my loot. Give me my money. I want to go. Get me out of here. Oh my God. Oh my God. That's
He
funny,
wants
bro.
to leave, so. Come
He
on.
said, give me my money. Give me
All right.
my money.
You'll get your stuff, no problem. Mi cash. I got you. Chill. Mi cash, me voy.
Say, I want to go home. Take me to my house
Yeah,
now.
so that's the guy, you know. So and then after
Yeah, that's a
that,
shame.
like
That's a
you know,
shame.
like I knew lots of beautiful women in Chile. So that's how I met Zed. Zed made a live with me.
Hmm.
She thought I was running an escort service and providing providing women to passport bro. You know,
Hell
yeah.
no, hell no. But see, these people who participate in that line of business, personal sex trade, if you will, they don't know how to get those kind because some of those women are tremendously beautiful. They just selling their bodies and their minds and the psychology of self. They're selling it to the highest bidder, and that's what they know. They don't know any different. So I can't blame the woman always because that's an industry and a market there. But the brothers know better, and so they'll never get a chick like some of that girl talking about giving my loot right now. He'll never meet that chick anywhere else in the world that'll take him seriously. That's why he does that, and that's why he couldn't help himself to talk to your girl that way. But
So
bro,
and you know, and the girl I mean a professional girl, you know, high level. And
yeah,
I forgot the reality of those brother, bro. So you know, so sometimes they think that everybody's in the
business.
same business or same level. I don't know what it is, you know. So you know, then I kind of you know they understood. I mean, it's not their fault. I mean, they just because our realities, you know,
Quite different.
quite different. So if they try to put everybody in the same, you know, same basket, but it's not even
Close.
close, you know. So
I know.
I never travel for sex. First of all, I mean,
You don't have to, bro.
you know. So then when I listen to these things, you know, but they're like, okay, well, but when you compare women from different cultures, then you're gonna see there's traits that are attributed that are you know from the place where you were raised, and it's a reality that you can
Oh yeah.
compare definitely a woman raised in the United States to a woman raised in Africa or Latin America for different factors. First of all, you know,
Hmm.
the we talk about two different socio-economic scale and two different family structure. Well, roles are well defined in one area, in other roles are not defined. So therefore, you know, because of sometimes you feel like when you deal with, I can understand them because I remember when I was with my past relationship with, I mean, American women. Sometimes you feel like you get used to it, but you realize that there is like your
Something
girlfriend
missing.
is competing with you
Yes,
in,
supporting.
instead of supporting, which is a reality, you know. But it's part of the culture. That's why you have this feminism. Have you seen this thing? Let
What's
me
that?
put it up. Let me put it up. Let me put it up. Oh, you have to listen to this guy. His name is Sam George from.
Mm.
Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Oh, I was watching. Oh, you're gonna. Okay, St. George.
I like it
Oh,
when you get like this, bro. This is gonna be fun. This is gonna be fun, bro.
St. George, Ghana. Hold on, hold on. Yeah, this guy is.
Got all day, bro. Don't worry about it. We good.
Hold on. You gonna see?
What? You making me laugh. I don't even know what you're talking about yet. Come on.
Hold on.
Why are you pulling that up? The thing I don't like about people who travel just for sex is they make it bad for everybody else. They really do. Um, from not only transmitting diseases and all that, but just the total image of others that come after who are treated lower than they should be because their experiences are that bad. That's the one thing I can't stand about
Yeah, that's
it.
true.
People are so damn uncouth, you know. You just can't go anywhere without, making themselves look like a fool.
Look, it's in the parliament. The this guy. Hold on, let me share.
Okay.
Yeah, hold on.
Hate and homophobia in Ghana.
I saw this. Oh yeah. Play
Very good
that. I loved it.
viewers, and I do not understand what you mean by pushing a bill that will legalize hate and homophobia. It's a bill to promote proper human sexual rights and Ghanaian family values. If you have another bill you're talking about, then maybe you've got the wrong man. But if you're talking to me about the bill I'm sponsoring in Parliament, it is to promote proper human sexual rights and Ghanaian family values.
What are
So
these
if that's what you
Ghanaian
want us to
family
talk about, we
values
can
in
talk
your
about
mind,
that.
sir? What do you consider Ghanaian family values?
Article 39 of the Ghanaian Constitution is clear that the state shall take steps to inculcate the right Ghanaian values, customary values, into society. The Constitution of Ghana makes the states clearly that the National House of Chiefs is the custodian of Ghana's custom. This bill is supported by the Ghana National House of Chiefs. Our fourth consultative forum, which was held in the Ashanti regional capital of Kumasi, was actually sponsored by the National House of Chiefs. And the president of the National House of Chiefs spoke extensively at that conference where Ghanaian culture forbids homosexuality. And so
But
Ghanaian culture, which
these
may be
members
alien to
of the
you and
LGBT
many of your
community we're
viewers,
speaking to, sir, are also Ghanaians. They are also Ghanaian. They are part of Ghanaian culture, and they're saying they're gay, they're transsexual, they're bisexual. They are also Ghanaians.
some of the individuals who were involved in planning terror attacks in America are American citizens. Is it American culture to kill people?
That's a false. That's not the same comparison. But what I want to focus on
Who
here
says it's
is
not the same comparison? You are telling me that because we have people who are carrying out an activity that is illegal per our laws already, and our culture frowns on it because they are found in our jurisdiction, that is our culture.
there
Is it
were many
American
things that
culture to
were
take a gun to
illegal
school and
that
shoot
are
innocent
unjust,
children and teachers?
Honorable MP. There are many things that were illegal that were unjust, and those laws were changed because they are unjust.
Well, laws are a reflection of society. Until 1960, American society did not find women fit to vote. And so women did not vote there. When they found them fit to
And so
vote, society evolved. Society evolves. At this point in time, the Ghanaian society is in a position where it says it is not welcoming of homosexuality. And any other person must respect the views of Ghanaian society. The CDD, which
what's your
is a far right liberal think tank here in Ghana, carried out research, which was published on the 1st of July. In fact, the academics who have sent in a memo against.
It's crazy, huh?
No kidding. I like it
Yeah,
though.
but
I like it that having an open discussion. But some laws are myopic. Some laws are very ample and wide. What's your take on it? I can hear it.
Well,
I
here's the thing. I mean, it goes. I mean, they can't really push an agenda in Africa because of a
no,
culture. I
they
mean,
can't.
and it's just not something that they will partake in. It just won't work. But I
It
want you
doesn't resonate. It really doesn't
Yeah,
resonate.
but I want to show something else that, hold on, that you can actually, hold on. I want to see what you think about this one.
Hmm.
Hold on.
Yeah, that's a very serious debate in that part of the world. And the thing is, you and I, of course, you're from Africa, but I've been in Africa more times than most people have been in their own backyards. And that's a hard conversation to have there. They don't play with homosexuality at
Yeah,
all in a lot of places.
and look at this guy, the same guy. Look at it.
Between me and my wife in my bedroom. But when you decide to bring, it's nobody's business what happens between me and my wife in my bedroom. But when you decide to bring what is supposed to remain in the privacy of your bedroom into public space, then public policy will apply to you. For people who choose to have sex, men who choose to have sex with men. And so the government had to spend $200 million. We're dealing with getting enough beds for our women to give birth when they are pregnant. We should now begin to divert those resources to stitch up the backsides of men who have chosen to go and have sex with men when they begin to have anal tears and anal. Wow.
Wow.
People who lose their
They
identity
don't
because
play.
of their
They do not
nation.
play.
Ghana
Wow.
is not the 51st state of the United States. Tell the American people, you either do business with us on our terms or you can walk. American businesses that operate in Ghana are not in Ghana because of LGBTQ. They are in Ghana because they make a profit. If you think that because we are protecting our cultural values and saying no to LGBTQ, you want to lose $100 million in profit, pack up and go. Africa must begin to assert our rights. We are not puppets and stooges of the West. And it's just the sheer hypocrisy of America and the West. Carter buys over $1 billion of military hardware every year from America. The punishment for homosexuality in Qatar is death. In Nigeria, the punishment in your law for same-sex marriage is 14 years imprisonment. The maximum in Ghana's law is just 3 years. As Nigeria's economy collapsed, the American economy would not run and the Western economies would not run without African raw material. Why should Ghanaian cocoa and Nigerian cocoa be traded on the New York Stock Exchange and not on the Ghanaian Stock Exchange? I mean, a bank should not be threatening the customer and saying, I won't give you a loan if you don't do what I want. If I don't come to you for a loan, you don't earn a profit. The CDC says that homosexuals are 400% more likely to be suicidal. The young man who walked into a school in the United States 3 months ago and shot up 22 kids was transgender. And this all came from a mental disorder because of him having undergone a gender change or gender reassignment when he was 8 years old. Even on the African continent, which country has the highest crime rate? South Africa. Why? Because they've embraced homosexuality as one of the growing factors in that country. So companies like DSTV, for example, will have to.
What do you think, Mike?
I believe that every culture should evolve to some great level. But if it's against the grain of your culture, I think people should avoid it. If I go to a certain country, let's say I went to South Africa in the days of apartheid as a black man, that wouldn't be advisable. I would not go because I would probably end up in prison or dead. So it beckons to reason that these are apples to apples that we're discussing. If homosexuality is not accepted in a place by law and the culture backs that law, then the homosexuals who are there may find themselves in peril at their own risk because the culture dictates people. The people cannot dictate culture. And I
Yes.
think that that's where the problem lies. They should not be ousted from their own homeland. That is not what I'm saying. But if my life was in peril because of my sexual proclivities, I'm out. I'm sorry. I'm out. I'm going somewhere else. So I don't understand the LGBTQ community, so I can't really say that.
Exactly.
I'm not
But
against them. I'm not for them.
neither do I.
They exist, and there you go. There you go.
Look, have you heard the part where he mentioned Qatar?
Yeah, yeah. What was he talking about there?
You see in Qatar what they do to a Qatari. I mean, if you're there, it's It's punishable by hanging or by
Death.
death.
Yeah, they do kill him. I do remember that.
Yeah, but why no one is? Why the U.S. doesn't
You're right.
propel their agenda there? That's what he say. Why? Because they just can't. Because they're in a position of strength.
Exactly.
You
They
see
are
this
truly in a
thing,
position of strength.
and
They
he
truly are.
said exactly. And if you continue look what is
To be careful about the kind of movies that they show in Ghana. The kind of content you show on TV must be censored. You cannot be a social media influencer and creating content that is contrary to the laws of the land. The punishment for advocacy is the strictest punishment in the bill. The punishment for advocacy is higher than the punishment for the act itself.
They don't want promoters of influence making it a part of the culture, I think. I think
Yeah.
that's absolutely it.
we have Richard on the panel. How are you, Richard?
Hey, Rich.
Greetings from whatever time zone I'm reaching you in, or wherever you guys are.
Oh,
It's
yeah, you know we in the
1:35, 1:35 and a lovely, beautiful overcast day, overlooking the central Patia Tower here in the land of smiles, the kingdom itself. Well, I chimed in today because I thought this would be a good place for me to talk my talk. I came to learn. You guys are on a great topic right now, but at some pivot point, I wanted to pose the question, which is today's topic: love across borders, cultural perspectives on intimate relationships, because I think that's a great topic, and this is a good place for you, well-educated, well-traveled, very experienced men, to communicate. And it's a beautiful combination. It's a perfect combination because you've got Mike, born and bred, raised American, in the streets of America. You have Strictly Travel, who is from the Congo. Man, I wouldn't fight nobody who told me they was from the Congo. I don't care how tough I am. That's going to be one hell of a fight.
That's about right.
Am I right? Am I right about that, Ranger? Am I right about that, Ranger?
Oh, yeah. You're absolutely correct.
So
I'm more special forces than Ranger, but go ahead.
Well, you know, I know.
Yeah.
I know. I'm not messing with you at all, bro. That's out.
It's all right. Well, there you go.
Take me off the hit list.
There you go. There you go. You off.
But, you know,
you're good.
As you brothers were talking, you know, I was thinking to myself some of the things I've studied and learned over the years of my life, some of the things I've been exposed to. You know, I'm American born and bred, and, you know, went through my various years of indoctrination, both of enslavement and freedom. But as you brothers were talking, I was thinking about Africa, and people ask me, why did you go to Africa? Well, I'm not that sophisticated a traveler yet. So I figured I would go somewhere, live for a year. I'm just trying to escape the scene of the crime as a victim. And please take that the right way. But I was sitting here and I was looking at coltan, something I had looked up, you know, about a year or two ago, and what coltan was and the battles in Kenya that are going on right now. You know, Kenya's in riots. They've stormed the parliament in Kenya.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and I thought about that because of the international perspective you brothers wanted to add to today's live. So I said, wow, let me ask these brothers, particularly my brother Strictly. Let me see, do you have that atrocity of a car? No, thank you. Who paints their Mercedes Benz yellow? I'm asking. But that's swaggy. It's smooth. But listen, so all this conflict, I got to thinking, like, all this conflict, the separation of the African American, the ADOS people from Africa. I didn't even know what coltan was. It really didn't come on my radar until I realized it was used in all types of devices, including most cellular phones. Don't quite understand all of its value and potential. And I was like, wow, maybe that's why, Norm, and I speak to you from in regards to your brand, it's so hard to get through to these people, our people. When I say these people,
Of course.
yeah, it's really difficult. And so this is a two-sided question. The minerals of Africa have been the central driving force of all of the colonization and battles that have taken place in Africa, the atrocities that have taken place in our motherland. And when you look at these type of mineral resources and how they've been appropriated, that's got to sit at the root of this of the conversation when I talk about it, not trying to promulgate my ideas here, but that's fundamental in it, in terms of like, why didn't you go back to Africa, Richard? A lot of conflict. Probably would have been a little bit more difficult until I met somebody like Strictly through this medium. Hey, Strictly, man, I'm thinking about coming to Africa. But Kenya's in turmoil right now, and Africa is in turmoil. And as the world starts to shrink into this little tiny bubble of anger and angst and stuff, resources are getting smaller, fewer. But the second side of this question, and this is something that I really tuned in for to hear, man, when you talk about cultural perspectives on intimate relationships, I gather that means that you brothers want to educate. So I'm going to sit back and listen and pop in when I have a question. Educate this new wave, this new exodus of Black men leaving the USA. It's phenomenal. It's mind-boggling.
It's called an exodus for a reason. It's called Exodus for a reason.
Thank you. Exodus, movement of the people. I like the reference song.
But what people don't know is what's the impetus behind this exodus. They say a lot of things, and it's mostly rhetoric. The true thing is this has been going on for the past 50, 60 years, maybe 70 years. When you displace a people like the African-American family, you've displaced them economically, socially, financially, educationally, real estate wise, and in other asset building opportunities. When you disenfranchise them from that, they have no other choice but to go to the path of least resistance. And a path of least resistance is to go somewhere where people will appreciate you. And it's not just for the sex. You want to go somewhere where you're safe, where you're respected, where you can work hard and earn something and gain something, where you should be able to do in the United States without prejudice, but that doesn't exist, even though there's a lot of golly gee brothers out there thinking that there's no such thing as racism in the U.S. When there is. It's ingrained in the institutions, in the thought process, the culture, everything since its inception. And you can't filter it. You cannot even try to filter it. But it's there. There are people who will look right at you, brother. Rich, they'll look at you and say, you're Black. I don't want to know you. I don't have to understand you. I don't care about you. And they don't even know anything about you. They don't know about your narrative. They don't know about your history. They don't know that you just saved 3 white people at the bus stop from being killed by a mugger. They don't know that. They don't care. They just know it's easy. Racism and prejudice are the 2 easiest things in the world to do. Simple. You simply glance at a person for a millionth of a second and you decide you don't like them. So when you talk about going overseas, the problem is after having so many generations upon generations on top of one another, all experiencing the same thing of degradation, no jobs, no opportunities, nothing. And then all of a sudden they see I can get a passport and I can actually leave here. And my little pension that I've earned will get me 10 times the life I would get in the US. And I happen to be in a great place. I'm a man of morals. I'm a man who works hard, or a woman who works hard. And the people here are beautiful. And I'm going to partake and enjoy that as well. That's what's attributing to this mass exodus, for the most part. Disenfranchisement in one place and franchisement in another. That's all it is. We're trading out our weaknesses in one place for strengths in another. And people can't see that. Sure.
I wanted to interject. Pardon me.
You did. It's okay.
So, Mike, when I got here, I Airbnb'd a little bit, and I was walking to the market, there was an Aussie standing outside, and I was looking at his business, and he said, "Hey, you need some help finding a place?" I'm like, "No, I'm right next door, but I need some help with my visa." Turned out to be one of the best people I met out here, and the only person I really even spent time talking to, right?
Got it.
From there, I began to kind of figure my way out, locking a 1 year. So I'm not Airbnb, because after 30 days, they can put that back on the market after day one of that 30 days and say he'll be out in 30 days. I was working to figure my way out throughout this journey because this was a whole new thing to me. For you guys, it's easy. And a lot of us are going to sound dumb. I'm about to say something that might sound dumb. When I met that Aussie, he said, "What brought you here?" I said, "I was tired of being black. I just wanted to be a person, a human. I didn't want to be black anymore because, again, my parents, I mentioned this on previous panels, come from the Jim Crow South. And I know their scars. I know their scars. They never talked about them, but I could feel them.
Oh, yeah.
I know what they went through. You know, the degradation, the disenfranchisement, separate but equal nonsense.
Oh, yeah.
And
Jim Crow.
I'm in my 60s.
Yeah.
I wished I'd have signed up for the Rangers. I think I could have made it. We might have been roadies. I might have met you in the foreign land. Because you're something that a generation of young black men have never seen. A self-made black man. That's what makes you different. Now, my advice.
Wasn't easy. You're right about that.
Say again?
It wasn't easy. You're right about that.
Bro, I came out here because I was tired of being black, because it ain't nothing.
Okay.
Hey, strictly. I'm going to tell you something about being born black in America. I'm not going to tell you nothing. Let me share my perspective. I should say that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It is a 67, 80, 82 on an average round fight.
Really?
It's like an old Jack Johnson fight. There's never a year, not a day of my life when I felt, until I got here, when I felt like I don't have a car over here. I'm not even trying to figure out how to drive. I'll hurt myself, even on a motor scooter out here, because traffic's different.
Oh yeah.
But I can walk. I'm right off Rompo and Second Road and a couple of the soys, and I don't care about these girls, man. Come on, man. Girls really at my age, seriously, that'd be the last reason I'd have spent this much money to come over here. And I stuck the landing. It worked out well. But I think one of the things when we talk about this black thing on these panels is the word black and how it applies to a diaspora. Whereas the word ADOS, I begin to dial in on because it's more relevant to my unique African-American experience. It better identifies me. And strictly, we've gone through several iterations of identification. Mm-hmm. You couldn't use the N-word unless you was ready to fight in the streets of America back, let's say 1960s on back. We were Negroes. We were colored. That was a more polite reference for our unique experience. African-American didn't come into about the 70s. So when you look at that, now we're going back to the N-word. That's more common in the streets. You don't hear brother as much, except amongst the G's. Oh, I don't even like that word. G meaning gentlemen, the old gentlemen, the OGs, the old gentlemen.
Oh, gangsters. Because I grew
I
up
don't
in
like
the hood. Well, that's your life. My life, I grew up in the south side of Chicago, and it was the toughest. Matter of fact, when I was growing up back in the 60s, it was one thing. The worst neighborhood in all of the United States was my neighborhood at the time. So I can tell you for a fact that's a part of the vernacular. It always has been. And yeah, you're right. On an undercurrent, it was there. But We use that term as a term of endearment oftentimes as well. And it's something that we can claim as ours and we protect. Even if it's degrading in the eyes of other people, we protect it because it's our form of speech and it's real and it's visceral. Especially to take a very demeaning term like that, because all nigger or nigra or negro, all it means is the color black in just about every language except for English. They
Right.
make it the people black in
Right.
America. But, in the world, in Spanish, negra and negron and negrina, negrita, all of these different names are a depiction of black. So they use this word, mainstream world, against black people to further immediately put him into a lower level of existence when they mention it to him. And it takes them back even to the days of slavery and Jim Crow without the person even knowing what that meant. There's a lot of these young cats, bro, right now that says things like,
Right.
slavery never really bothered me. Racism, there's no racism in America, and segregation is over. They say these dumb things, and all they're doing is putting a nail in the coffin of every black person that hears that and agrees with it, because racism does exist, prejudice does exist, xenophobia does exist, and it not only exists with white people dealing with black people, but now wherever white people go or have gone in the past couple of
Globally.
centuries. That's right. They've gone to Korea, and a lot of Koreans hate us. They don't know why. They've gone to to parts of North Africa and South Africa. And North Africa, the lighter persuaded blacks up there tend to frown upon American black people because they think that we are unworthy, like the white conquerors from Europe as well as America, or Americans, I guess it would be Europe, of course, and went there, and the first thing they did was throw out to divide the people. Same
Well,
thing
Michael,
with,
as a sidebar, I just want to ask a question because, again, I mentioned in the comments, I got questions, man.
go
I'm
ahead.
talking
Go ahead.
to international travelers. So, with the considering the fact that we have the World Wide Web, YouTube is everywhere virtually. Every country has its own version of it, its own iteration. What I've been puzzled by is the notion that African American men, ADOS men, can travel overseas without considering the fact that they can look at us online, our neighborhoods, how we act up when we go other places. Why would you think that those people of other cultures that are thousands of years old, and we still have yet to establish ours, if we did, we lost it, why would we think that a woman from a foreign land is going to, especially these days, is going to look at me and think, oh, he's a good man, when all they got to do is go to YouTube, Facebook, any of the social media and see our youth, banging on each other, shooting guns, killing children and innocents.
Doesn't that have a lot to do? Okay, let me enlighten you. I think
Please help me.
thank you for that statement, but it has to be something called perspective. If you're looking for that kind of behavior, then you're gonna find it. It's just that simple. If you want a low class piece of ass, or a woman, or a prostitute, or just a normal girl but low class, then go find one. You can do that, and they're everywhere, and in every country, and in every culture. So I'm not trying to denigrate one culture against the other or compare it. But if you're a man of substance and character, remember, honor is what you have when everybody is looking, but integrity is what you have when no one is looking. And when you can be yourself in front of a lot of people, women especially, and behind closed doors, and you represent that to a woman as an ADOS man, as you state, you represent that, you're going to find what you attract. But if you are low life, and they know that no matter the words that come out of your mouth, your body language, the spiritual connection they're having with you or disconnect, they're going to know what you're after. They're just going to know. It's inherent. And most women know when a guy is trying to get with them. Most women know. And they don't always want to be got to. Even women in America. People say, "Oh, brothers leave the states because they can't get an American woman." That's a lie.
That's a
I've had
lie.
models, actresses, doctors, attorneys. I've had every kind of woman you can have, white, black, and everything in between in the States and all over the world. So that's a lie. It's when they have inadequacy, Rich, about what they can accomplish or not when it comes to women. There is the problem. Therein lies the problem. When, if
But
we call it game, they have no game.
yeah,
I've seen the ugliest dudes in the world with the finest women. Boy's got game. He knows how to talk to them, treat them, respect them, honor them, trust them, and sleep with them. Hit it. He knows how to hit it. So the
hey,
game he plays,
Biggie
is
said,
good
"Black
game.
and ugly
Yeah,
as ever."
yeah, bro.
Yeah,
Exactly. So these guys run around talking about they can't get a woman because they're tens and they're not an Instagram model. And yeah, I've been with all of those tens on down. So I don't have a problem with that. Never have. So I don't have to go to a place looking for it. It'll find me. There's one thing
yeah,
real men know: a beautiful woman, if that's your taste, she will find you. And you just got
yeah.
to be patient and don't be anxious and after the ass. The minute you get after that ass, they'll know it, and you become nothing to them. Well, why? Why put yourself in those circumstances? When you can just find the woman of your dreams just by not looking for her. And
Mike,
that's
I think you and I have had very similar circumstances because I've had women approach me very often, and I've cold approached. I don't even understand the idea of cold approach. If I approached a woman, I was high.
bro.
So for me, I'm coming in high with
I don't
with
have
the
that
right,
experience, bro.
yeah,
I
right.
don't- no.
Cold approach. What is that? That's some new stuff I've never heard of. I hear Austin talk about that a lot. And props to Austin. He's growing. He's growing, brothers. He really is. He's doing way more high level content, discussions about travel. He has a more formatted conversation with written down questions. I said to Zed months ago that I think Austin is going to do us proud inevitably when you consider that the human brain really is fully developed at 25. I see Austin at some point being on a major network news channel. I don't mean to linger on him, but because he's learning and broadcasting. This is broadcasting. Let me just say this last part.
Sure.
This is broadcasting. This is the new world of broadcast. YouTube has beaten most cable channels to the ropes. Sirius, XM, Fox, everybody is competing on this platform. YouTube is universal in terms of its broadcast reach. This is broadcasting. This is no small thing. If you go to my channel,
Yeah, I want to hear what Strict has to say, though, bro. I want to hear what he has to say. So, you interrupted him, so you can finish.
No, 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 no. I was just gonna
No,
interject. I was listening to pretty much what Richard was saying about the cold approach and then Austin.
Mhm.
That Austin is growing, and I agree with him because initially I've watched Austin over for the past maybe 6 7 months. No, a little bit over because I believe I've got not about 6 months. December, that's when I found out about who Austin was. And then, so really, I mean, he's a young guy that is an ex-barber that left the United States, started to travel and discover new things, and pretty much experience with American women and so forth. But what we need to understand sometimes that the guy is only 24, he just turned 25. So when he started traveling, was like maybe 22 or 23. So it was a learning process, and we need to understand that the women it talked to are usually a student with a different mindset. So there's
Yeah.
always going to be some differences in which way, because Austin himself is not into the he's not into college, for instance. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So he's not into college, and so therefore he catered to specific type of women that he will meet on the street. Like when he was in Sao Paulo, for instance, he didn't do quite well. And why he didn't do well? Because Sao Paulo is a vibrant city. It's like just being in New
Hmm.
York City. So therefore, the mentality there, cold approach won't work because it's very cliquish. You approach a girl that you don't know, she's gonna say, "Well, what is this guy approaching me? What does he want?" They almost as like stalking. Like, okay, I don't know you.
Yeah.
In which
Yeah.
circumstances we've met. So what's the purpose? What type of commonality do we have, for me to talk to you? But when it goes to Manaus, Manaus is like the country part. Therefore, those women are less educated and they're more welcome to foreigners, and they have a less the income stream is way lower. So therefore, they're more friendly when you go. It's like even in the DR when you go to the countryside, you can talk to any women. They're very friendly because it's a cultural
El
standpoint.
campo.
Exactly, but Sao Paulo, I mean, imagine people in Sao Paulo. I've met people that to avoid traffic, they fly by helicopter to go from their home to or they go to lunch using helicopters. So Sao Paulo got lots of money, so therefore you need more to impress, So therefore that's why it is not doing well. But this audience watching say Sao Paulo, this and that. No, I've been to Sao Paulo. I know how it is.
Oh yeah.
Sao Paulo. If you don't belong to a certain, if you
Click.
don't, you click of, and what we need to understand. Okay, I've heard women asking Austin, "What does he do for a living?" What was his response? He's on YouTube. He said, "That's what I do. That's my job." And she was like, "Really? Okay." They don't understand that. They say, "Well, that's your job. Like, how is that possible?" Like, so they don't get it. So therefore, because to them being a YouTuber is not as lucrative in those places because it's a new phenomenon. It's more like an American phenomenon. Like people understand this thing. But they're the like, having a job is going to an office, a 9 to 5, or having some type of business which is palpable. They don't understand this whole concept of YouTube. Therefore, the acceptance is not the same. You know. But now he has
Oh,
some very interesting topic. He goes to talk about different. He has nice panel organized. He asks relevant question, as Richard said. So because you probably never watched Austin. Probably, one day I sent his link. I sent his channel. He was talking about World War III. That was the guy Austin, the young guy. He's 25.
Yeah. I
hmm
saw
So
that.
so when I see Austin, I looked at him. My oldest daughter is 24, about Austin age. So I look at him as a kid
kid. Yeah.
who's growing, and so I don't attack him personally. I just listen to him, and I'm like, okay, well, it's a learning process. At least at 25, he's traveling the world, learning new culture, so that'll be a learning process. Lots of people attack him. They say, I hope this guy has a pension plan, has this and that. Okay, well, beautiful. That's okay, well, but let him live
Best life now. Let him
his
try to earn
exactly,
that. Yeah.
and
hmm
then maybe he won't need it. Maybe that's his. Maybe it's not cut for regular like regular life. Maybe that's gonna be his path. He might achieve wonders. Who would have said that? Okay, it's a different example. People like Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, and this and that. They were not thinking about pension plan when they were young. So
And they
so it's,
dropped out of college. Bill
so,
Gates, some of those
so,
guys dropped out.
so it's all relative. So the tendency we have to do, we try to adapt our reality or our way of looking at things as everybody else. I don't know who was that. I can remember on the panel. Someone was mentioning that when it comes to healthcare, that the U.S. has the best healthcare system. Then when you travel overseas, that was Rick, old crusty Rico. It was like, well, the
Yeah,
U.S. got the
that
best
is not
healthcare,
true.
but it's not true at all. It's far from being good. The U.S. I mean, the healthcare system is good when you're on what is it, Medicare? Yes, but during your youth, I mean, it's expensive if you don't have a job. I mean, health insurance. And he said that Dominican Republic is not it. He mentioned it, but because it doesn't know reality. You know how many people from the United States come to DR to get the teeth fixed because insurance here costs a good insurance for a single person. Full coverage costs you about roughly $60. Then you get like with
Yeah,
no copay. You
that's
can score
true.
$60. If you don't have, if you want to get the cheaper one, you can get for like maybe $30 or $31. And with the copay, but the copay is still small compared to. So what people do, they rather They come here, get the teeth fixed, and go back to the United States because it's cheaper to get things done. So it's all relative. So we're under that false understanding that that's full concept that the U.S. healthcare system is the best. And as a matter of fact, it's one of the worst. I mean, there are good doctors, but the healthcare system, it is not good. When you think about how much you're gonna pay for your health insurance, and then if you look at the best healthcare system in the world, I mean, the U.S. is not. But people still think that in the
They've been
U.S.
conditioned.
Yeah, they've been conditioned. Think the best, like if you look at let's take a look at the best public health system. Let's see, Belgium. Okay, then after that we have slow. Belgium got okay, Belgium,
Switzerland is awesome.
UK, Australia, Germany, Switzerland, Norway, Denmark, Finland, Canada, Sweden.
I have a comment.
Yeah.
And while I make this comment, if you could scroll down to where the U.S. is, I think we're 86th, 87th in terms of healthcare.
Yeah, something like this. Yeah.
Okay.
Something like
You
that.
can be reading for 20 minutes over there, Strict.
Yeah. And so to that extent, I had an experience with a doctor a score ago.
Four score and 7 years. There you go.
Well, that's 87 years.
There you
A
go,
score
bro.
ago. And I said, hey, doc, I'm in my 40s, I'm in pretty good shape. And I just wanted to do, and I was in Beverly Hills.
Mm-hmm.
I'm bougie. And I said, I just wanted to develop a relationship with a doctor so I could stay on top of my health, was the words I meant to say. And when I said, I just wanted to develop a relationship with a doctor, he said, stop. No, you don't. He took my blood pressure. He weighed me. And this was on a good plan. This was on a really, no copay plan. He weighed me and sent me out the door. And I never forgot that. I don't want any relationship with doctors until it's absolutely positively necessary. And that's kept me healthy, both mind and body, into my 60s. I've got a friend right now who has had open heart and now is in the hospital with gout. And we're the same age, approximately. And I said to myself, wow, what a difference a day makes. Even you and I, Mike, we're about 3 years and change apart. Don't know your month and don't need to. I know you're like late 50s in terms of the year born. Grew up in the 60s, partied in the 70s, got it in the 80s, slowed it down in the 90s. In the 2000s, got more selective. So we have the same path, me and Mike do, strictly. We're light-skinned brothers. We saw the change from Chris Williams to Wesley Snipes when light skin got played out. But I never had problems meeting women.
Talking about Ice-T in him?
Oh, real talk, Mike. I had a computer store in Hollywood on Sunset, if you want to know a little bit about my past. And Darlene, his wife, who he put on the album covers in those bikinis and onesies that, well, oh man, that album cover alone to make you buy it. She used to bring Little Ice when he was an 8-year-old, 9-year-old to a karate store, a karate shop right next door to my computer shop. And we used to speak and say, hi, I don't know them. I'm not connected, blah, blah, blah. But the problem that these young brothers and sisters are having, man, is because of the lack of, real parenting in the family. So I want to put a bow on this, but also the lack of leadership. The 60s, we at least had Martin. Heck, we had Patrice.
And Malcolm.
Hold on, we had Patrice overseas. And Malcolm and Baldwin. Baldwin was hard to relate to for obvious reasons. But we had Richard Wright. We had all of these incredible individuals who were part of our leadership. We had Jesse. People don't even respect Jesse anymore. we had Barack and the First Lady Michelle, and we're still struggling to try to understand we're now struggling real hard because now we got Sexy Red and Jay-Z and Kendrick Lamar just dropped a piece. Wow, big deal. Not like us. I went and listened to that song, Mike and Strick, and I'm like, that's the hot new joint that everybody's getting behind? Not like us? No bass, no bottom to the music? I mean, at least we should get a little thump on the bottom of the music so we could, do what we do. These young brothers, Mike, have never met people like you and Strictly, Knack Me Easy. They're so weak. We need to really get behind them. The online arguments, the online beefs, we see what that results in. Nobody wants to mess with Mike. For anybody out here who's still listening, you don't want to mess with Mike and you don't want to mess with Strictly. These are grown men with grown man strength. They'll hurt you real fast, like before you know it. You don't want none of them. What you really want from them, this is to my young brothers, if anybody's still out there, even BA to DA, who was on the panel today, you want to learn from these brothers. These are established men. These are real men. And so many of that generation, Strictly, now that we're one-on-one, I think Mike will come back. That generation missed that, brother. I would say there's one thing about the African diaspora is that your father, well, you live in a matriarchal society.
That is correct.
Well, imagine not your father. My father didn't hang out with me. Hey, come on, son, let's go to the ball game. Well, it was the whole family when we went, but not just me. Black men grew up a little tougher, ADOS men, a little tougher. And then unfortunately, due to, economic changes in America, we had to do without. Well, you're college educated, man. There are a ton of aspirational young black men who wished I would get on a plane, fly back to America, and walk you through the streets of my homeland, and then Chicago, and then Newark, and then all the South, and interview those young brothers. And if you said to them these simple words, I can change your life by taking you to Africa, there's a percentage of them who are going to sign up for that boat or that airplane, that ride. I want to get out of drug dealing. I want to get out of trapping. I'm tired of singing these death lyrics. I'd like to find out what that feels like. It took me 60-some years to live overseas. I'm like a child again. And that feels good. It really does, quickly. Why did I come to Pattaya? Because I didn't know no better. It was cheap. And I stuck the landing.
And it's also safe, right?
Extremely. Except
That's
for these
the thing.
packs of stray dogs. I don't go out at night. I'm not sure if they want to eat me or just run by me. I'm not sure about that. Might come back up to the panel. But other than that, and then the soys. When I walk down the soys, please, I'm just walking home. Leave me alone. Don't say nothing to me. I'm new over here, and I know what you ladies are about. And no, I don't have an extra dime, not one single extra baht for you, if it's not a tip, when I'm buying my food from my vendors. I don't have anything extra. If I could portray Pattaya as a place through these panels and change the image of Pattaya in the same way that the Thailand government is attempting to. That's why I see Europeans walking with baby carriages with children in them down the soys. They're fighting hard to fix that. Just like they're fighting hard to fix Figueroa Street. near downtown Los Angeles, just like there's fighting to fix a lot of problems in America and throughout the world. It's just what it is.
Yeah, it is true.
My
It is true.
back. Yeah.
Hey guys.
Yeah, yeah.
Getting sleepy, brother?
No, it's the phone
What
line.
time is it in Dubai, man?
Bruh, it's noon. It's about 11:15 here, almost about 45 minutes from noon.
Yeah.
I'm in the middle of my day, bro. I'm good.
2.5 hours apart. We are.
Yeah.
And then 2.25, technically. 2.25.
Yeah, because they do the half-hour mark over there a lot.
Strictly where you at?
Singapore.
See, now I know I'm on the right panel because I'm talking to rich people.
3:14. But you know, I mean,
I'm talking to some real movers and shakers.
Trying to get some stuff done, bro. That's all. Trying to get stuff done.
Well, that's movers and shakers, you know.
Yeah.
So getting back to the cultural perspectives on intimate relationships,
Mm-hmm.
be a great topic for you brothers to talk about because, Mike, I hear you talking about wandering the earth and sowing your wild oats around the globe with the homie, with a homie, a backup, a bodyguard, sniper, and as y'all exchange positions.
Well, I've done that too, but no. Right now, I'm very methodical about everything I do, and I pretty much travel. The only person I'll really travel with over the past 20-some years to different countries together is Strick. Strick and I have been to so many countries I cannot literally count them.
I can tell.
Together, and so, but I don't follow anybody. I don't go to sow oats. I've done all that when I was a kid. I'm beyond all that, but I'm having a ball now. Don't get me wrong. I'm having a ball now.
Yeah, but Richard, I mean, now that I know you in Thailand, I've never been there, so I'm not far from you. So
I got you as a wingman, but I'm gonna warn you now.
It's okay.
At my age, and the way my bank account works is, when the sun goes down, we can go hang out, and then by about 9 o'clock, I need to get home and cuddle up in the bed. You know, I am the Vosel. I'm Richard Vosel.
Nothing wrong with that, as long as you have with your lifestyle and you have peace. That's what matters the most, you know.
Truly,
and
truly.
Exactly. Like in
Hey,
my
brothers,
case, I like to explore.
you could get stabbed by a homeless person in Los Angeles, and I lived in a nice neighborhood until it changed.
Indeed, you're right. So when it comes to security, and you know, imagine, I remember Mike and I, we started the literary travel in 2000, and it's been like 24 years, and literally that we've been outside.
Wow.
Mike, in 24 years, you went back to the state for how long? Maybe total?
Maybe a year and a half.
Imagine. So Mike was
quarter century.
Yeah, Mike was wasn't used to the passport bro, all those new terms. You know, you have to catch up on those things. You know, so it was like new, and listen to this guy complaining, and I'm like, okay. And like earlier in the panel, this guy started attacking us, saying that talk about education. I'm like, I said, hold on. This was supposed to respect everybody else's opinion when they were mentioning that women abroad were different than women locally. I say, well, which is true, but it's a matter of appreciation as far as when they were mentioning looks, because beauty is subjective. You know, we cannot generalize things, but it's a reality that women are more approachable in different countries than the United States. You know, because of the culture.
That's not been my experience, though, my brother. That has not been my experience, and I've been off the playing field for a while. But I'd like Mike to speak to that as well. But please continue. I just wanted to
because you are in a place where, like you in Thailand, where the majority.
No, not here. Not here, though, bro. In America, that's not been my experience.
We're talking about abroad. We're talking about abroad.
I'm a Vosel now.
In America, I never had any problem. My first
none.
Right.
My first wife, then the second one, they were American. We didn't split because of their personality. Because I'm a strong brother, so I want to impose my belief and the way I look at things. Either you like it or you don't. That's how I operate. And then they have adapted. It's never been an issue, you know. But it's a fact that when you go out, because you get used to the how you get treated, you know, that's it. It becomes part of your culture. But when you go elsewhere, then you realize that I mean, the majority of women they will cook for you, they will clean you, they will remove your shoes and stuff like that. That you're less likely to find it. So to it's like, wow, this is interesting. Like I remember because when I left the Congo, I was a young guy, you know. So my first experience with women was really in the United States, you know. So, but then when I went back, dating an African woman, then I could see the difference. Then I could pinpoint. I could realize that there's literally a difference, but then you have to look at the cultural aspect. What's the difference? In the U.S., the majority of women are empowered. They work. They have. I mean, they have a job. They have an income. So they don't depend on a man to make their end meets. While abroad, they like to them the man is pretty much. You know, like the head of the household. They really believe in that, and then you know, and it's just embedded into the culture thing. So it's just two different culture totally, you know. So we cannot really
It's
compare.
more accommodating. It's more
Yeah,
accommodating.
we have to look at the whole context of those things, you know. And then I've realized, and then I was dating this girl from Bosnia, and then I've realized that it was clashing constantly. You know, I was like, wow, you know. Then I dated Russian. I've realized they were more like they're more they were less complicated. So it all depends. In the updated Ethiopian and act just like Z. There is no difference.
Difference. None.
I mean, I was shocked to see that. I was like, wow. When I talked to Z, I was like, it's the exact same thing. I mean, they have that
Strong opinion.
strong opinion, and sometimes they will misunderstand you because it's based on the cultural aspect of it, you know. So they have that. So you know, so they understand it quite well. But when I listen to her, the way she talks, the way she articulates, I'm like, wow, it's just the exact same
Oh yeah.
culture, exact same thing. But then you know, I remember when I dated this, when I went to Congo to this girl, I was like, okay, you know, they realized that she was worried about cooking, about this. She made sure that I was well taken care of. It's part of the nature. That's how they had that nurturing nature. Make sure that you're good, make sure that you're happy. But the difference is, Ethiopian women don't argue like Z. That but Z is Americanized. She's Westernized now. They will, if she feels like there's an argument, what she will do, she will she will just be quiet and retract herself, and she will say, "Well, let's talk when you come." And I was like,
Yeah.
"Really?" And when she told me that, I was like, "Okay, that's interesting." Then you look stupid. Like, what would I argue with a person who doesn't respond back to you? you know. Then after a
Hmm.
while, you know, because that's the culture. But you know, so to me, I look at women. I mean, they they're the same but with different essence, and then it's also like I said, the women want to feel protected. You know, even though feminism they don't agree with me, they think we're equal. But when there's a war, unless you're in Israel, there's no women up front. You know.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
brothers, I know. First of all, I want to ask this question real quick between the two of you brothers. Um, how did you guys meet again?
We're
Now I got
never
a
Met in
follow up question.
yeah.
we're neighbor in Atlanta, Georgia, 25 years ago. And
Where?
in Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta.
Oh, word. I
Atlanta,
used to live in Atlanta.
yeah, Atlanta, you were a neighbor. We met. I remember we met in a parking lot.
What year
Yeah,
was that?
downstairs underneath in Damon
99, right?
Stoughton. Yeah, 99. Damon Stoudemire had just passed. He was on one of those teams. We had like we were in a real celebrity building. I mean, Holly Berry's walking up and down the halls. We had Damon Stoudemire. We had boy from the Braves. Remember the picture? What was his name? I was married to Holly. He was there all the time. Peebo Bryson lived there. Uh, uh,
The
what's
Braves.
his name?
What was his name? The guy from the Braves.
The
Hold
picture.
on. Jamar Moore?
No, it was a
Lamar
picture.
Moore? Jamar Moore?
It was a
No,
I
picture.
forget his name. That's who Holly
light
was
skinned
messing
brother.
with back in. Yeah,
He was
that's who Holly was messing with.
Holly Berry's ex-husband.
Oh, that might have been David Justice.
David
Yeah,
Justice. Yeah,
there we go. David
David
Justice.
Justice. I mean, in our building, we lived in like Celebrity Central. For it was on the matter of fact, it was probably the hottest condo in the city.
Probably sitting up on Peachtree, South Front.
No,
Hey, let
Lennox
me ask
Road.
y'all, do y'all
Lennox
remember
Road.
the Bronner Brothers show and Jack the Rapper?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. My cousin was a
Man, that
concert
was the
promoter in
hottest thing
Atlanta.
in town.
You ever heard of Taurus Productions?
No, I have not.
Used to do all the concert. Man, they were the biggest concert promotion companies in the 70s and 80s.
Have you ever
Literally.
heard of America Talk Live?
Yeah, on somewhere on this here. I saw that. That's you.
Yeah. We
But
in these streets, brother. We in these streets, Mike.
oh,
We
yeah.
out here get hustling.
Well, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do till you get there.
Yeah, man.
It's better not to fake it. You know, just keep trying to make it. But it,
Yeah,
Well,
but
I'm beyond the fake it and beyond the thinking about it. I'm retired and I love it, and that's why I'm here in cheap old Patia.
bruh.
as long
Go
as,
ahead.
like I said, as long as you have peace, you relax, and you're healthy, that's all it matters. I mean, like remember, I've made a comment when I've said life is short, and you've said something interesting. Say no, life is
Life
not
is
short.
long, man.
Because you
It's
see, and I
60
realized it's true. It's not that short.
It's 60 some years long, man.
That's
That
true.
ain't
It's been a
long.
minute.
It's been a minute, but whatever. Because I
It's
Been a
remember,
definitely been a
minute,
minute.
man. Time
remember,
is short,
remember when
but
I met.
life is long if you keep waking up.
I was,
Yeah.
All you
I
gotta
was,
do.
I was 26 when I met Mike. Mike was what 39,
39, I think.
and
39.
I used to tell Dad he's old. But now when I reach 40, I'm like, damn, I'm 50. I'm like,
You my age back then.
You guys were that far apart?
Yeah,
yep.
40
And believe it,
years?
absolutely.
no, 13,
20 years?
13,
13.
13 years.
Okay.
13.
Yeah,
And guess
13
what?
years.
I've learned a lot there because when I look back, when you're young, that's why I look at Austin. I was this age about when I met. Hold on, no, it was I was 26, a bit older than Austin.
Hmm.
When I looked at him, I thought I knew it all, and I
Oh yeah.
wasn't. And Mike was teaching me things. I was like, this guy is crazy. And as I got older, I'm like, you know what? You those things just come back. You know what? Because I mean, so it's my thing. I always got along with people older than me because it was always. I felt like people my age were just they didn't have back then. They didn't have the
Yeah.
knowledge of. I think I was in a different pace, than they are. So so now when I look back, I'm like, you know what? It's quite interesting. I wasn't as a good listener as I am now, and then also lots of mistakes I've made over the
None of
years.
us are strictly, not at your age. Couldn't
Where for
you couldn't you couldn't tell me nothing.
nothing, I could have avoided lots of things, in business if I would have listened, you know, and then because Mike always had that, he was always a good. You can look at someone and say, "Well, be careful, don't do this with him." And people was like, "Man, Mike, you just don't want, you just want." I was like, you just want me to do this just with you, and that's what I thought. I did,
Mhm.
But remember, I was like, "Nah." Remember,
Oh yeah.
we met, we met different groups with this over the years, and at the end
All kind of crazy people.
it turned out to be. Remember those guys that came up with that live music experience? The two brothers that weren't even that dance. Remember?
Yeah, back in Atlanta. Oh my God, I hated them. I couldn't stand. It was so
Mike, I'd like to
dumb.
share something with you, Mike, when you get a
Yeah, I
chance.
hated them. Yeah, bro. I was like, oh man, what the hell you guys gonna get it? What kind of mess y'all gonna get into? And it
Hey,
was
tell him.
bad. But anyway.
Remember when we were at the Ritz Carlton? We met. Remember who?
Yeah, it was Marlon Jackson and Tate George.
Ex.
Tate George was my boy. He's the one who introduced me to Denzel and Whitney Houston there in New York. And that was the first
Yeah,
time I met Denzel Tate. And he was with your boy Marlon. So
Marlon
they didn't
Jackson.
know Marlon knew you and Tate knew me. So that was a pretty good hookup. We had a
Yeah,
pretty good
no,
time.
those were the
Yeah,
cool old days.
we had a ball, bro. We had a ball.
Atlanta was nice though, but I've heard it's not the same anymore. And then when I listened to, because I was listening to Chris earlier, he lives in Atlanta, and then just I mean, but I don't know how old it's gonna. Chris is 41, 42. and they were talking about those dating apps, and I'm like, until this day, I
What?
yeah,
The
that
dating apps.
I've
dating
Let's
never
apps,
been on
elaborate
one.
on dating apps, brothers.
I've never
and
been on one.
that's what I'm
Dating
saying.
apps.
I've downloaded Tinder once when I was. Remember the guy we met in Dubai, Hassan? He said, "Well, you should download
Yeah.
Tinder." I downloaded Tinder, and that's where I met. Remember Too Much Hungry, the Russian girl?
Oh yeah, too much hungry. She's staying hungry. This chick. Oh my God.
She's
Too much hungry. I'm hungry. Too much hungry.
she was a. That's I
God.
met her. That's the only time I used Tinder, and that's the only. After that, after I met her, I literally deleted the app because I was like, it's how ridiculous it is. You have to match people. I mean, I'm like, and the rest of the people I've made them face to face. You know, you go to a club, you go to a restaurant, someone introduces you to, and that's what I see. But then I look at how they defend those dating apps, and then it was even explaining how you need to have the nice profile and do this. To me, I was like, am I too old, or those guys they're just not in touch with reality? I mean, to me, if you have to recur to. To an app to be able to meet people, there's something wrong with that. That's how I look at it. Just go out and meet people, especially
Exactly.
and because the dating app to me I mean, it's like a game. I mean, I've done the thing. I'm like, you have to put the picture of it. I'm like, nah, I don't have time for that. I just but it's so popular now that people meet on dating apps, and it's so to me
It's
like
commonplace. It's
yeah. But
commonplace.
do you know my nephew? Yeah.
Yeah, went to his graduation, remember?
Yeah. Oh, I tell you, Al
In
Noor.
Abu Dhabi.
Al
Yeah.
Noor's getting married in Paris in next fall,
I
2025.
didn't I know him as a baby? Didn't I know him as a baby?
Yep,
I
he's
mean,
getting
good Lord. In New
he's getting
York.
married. Yep, and the other one, the one that graduated in Abu Dhabi, went to the graduation, got married to a girl from Morocco.
He did.
Yeah, but
That's a good young brother. I like him. I like him. I
yeah,
mean, when he was a baby.
yeah. So and guess
Wow.
what? The other day they sent me some pictures. You were there when we met them in New York. Can you believe that?
Wow. When we were
Yeah,
living in Brooklyn, we were going between Brooklyn and Manhattan. I remember
yeah,
that,
yeah.
right? We lived in a hotel for a long time. Good
And
Lord. We must have been in a
So,
hotel for a year.
so
Good
fellas,
Lord.
let me ask you,
sure.
and I think this is the perfect platform for this. Not so much with Zed's platform or Chris's platform now. This is a perfect platform for the Black Man's Travel Forum. Go ahead and take that if you like. And look, it doesn't have to be a separate channel. It can be a series of discussions.
We can do that. We can transmit it in euros and
Yeah.
the
There's
mic.
some things I know about this YouTube stuff that I've been studying from previous failures, failed battle plans, things that I sat back and I've been observing with Zed and long format. There was a short period of time when short format and YouTube, because of the Instagram and TikTok pressure, started creating shorts, and then Facebook got on board. But long format extends your listening hours. And I realized that that's why Zed will set the fire, put the pots on the stove, and then go have a nap and let Chris take over and moderate.
Good Lord.
Yep.
Using me. I'm with it. If you can't be used by somebody, what use are you on the planet is my philosophy.
Yep.
But this is the kind of discussions, and the reason I wanted to come up today, especially after coming off of Zed's stream, long format style, create the retention, engage the audience, have BA the DA, invite him on, school him like you gentlemen do, and get NACMESI involved. There's a transition coming in this media space. It really is. I've studied this for some years. Can't shoot a gun, can't change a flat on an Abrams, but I can tell you something about this internet thing.
You mean A1 Abrams? Is that the one you're talking about?
I don't even know, bro. I'm just
An
using
A1.
catchwords.
Got it.
Ranger. Don't test me. I'm just using catchwords. I'll fail. But there's this whole other element that's going to evolve. in the same way that South Africa transitioned, in the same way that ADOS Americans are transitioning. We are behind Africa in terms of our conscious awareness of how the world works. We've been oppressed a lot longer and never had to drop blood, never had to draw no blood to create our independence. But no great nation was ever built without blood, sweat, and tears. And I know, Ranger, you can respect that. You got to get your hands, got to roll up your sleeves, got to say some things. You ain't got to even, you could drop a drone. And this is me speaking metaphorically. This is us dropping these leaflets over our neighborhoods, but you don't got to print the leaflets and, you know, buy plane fuel and, you know, go fly somewhere and pick a, you know, a neighborhood or any of that. This is us
S5 operations, S5 operations, but go ahead.
Right. So, you know, I've been pushing this narrative as a hashtag, Mike, about the Manchurian Candidate. And I revisited that concept after watching Denzel do an incredible job, better than Frank Sinatra for sure, about that story.
Oh, yeah.
And how do you mechanize an army against itself? How do you scale that up? How do you pollute the water? How do you pollute the water and dumb down the brain? I did a video about that called Something's in the Water. I took it down. This is all on my little channel. I haven't even produced anything. This is the most I've produced since 2022. I just gave up. But I've been inspired by you brothers, especially the international aspect of it. Because, you know, I'm a neophyte transplant in a foreign land. I just figured out how to count the money. Do you realize how incredibly powerful that would be if we could sponsor young brothers out of the neighborhoods to see a foreign land, be challenged by the language, count the money, my guy. You want a soda? Here's 100 baht. Go buy a soda. It occurred to me very late in my life, Mike, strictly because I realized, well, you're still on the scene of the crime. Strictly, stuff happened to us. Stuff happened to our parents. Stuff happened to our parents' parents ad nauseum. It's been very tragic. We would love Africa to embrace us, but it doesn't take much time on a phone in Africa to figure out not them niggas.
Oh, yeah.
I get the keep Africa passport, bro, free narrative. I get it. I've been studying it. But the things about this internet thing and this narrative and the algorithms that I'm beginning to really get a hold of. These conversations are the Malcolm X of it all. These conversations, it's only 3 of us up here. And I want to encourage you strictly to keep doing lives. And I've been to your channel. I've seen your YouTubes, Norm.
Okay.
Keep doing that. This stuff has to be disseminated. This is how it worked back in the day before the internet. It was the soapbox. And I heard you mention to a brother, don't get on your soapbox. Somebody said that to him. No, man, let him get on the soapbox. Let him talk his talk. It might be nonsense. But back in the day,
a whole lot of nonsense out there, bro. There's a whole lot of nonsense.
So
Lord.
our responsibility, the reason I keep waking up, Mike, I think, I'm not sure because I haven't figured out life yet and why I'm still here. Why, Lord? Why, God? Did you wake me up? Because, you know, at my age, I could die in my sleep. Why did I wake up again? And so through a thin veil of effort, perfunctorily, Norm, I had to go back in the dictionary.
Perfunctory engagement.
Perfunctorily, I started coming up on Zed's channel. After doing, you know, 10 years on the internet, bruh, trying to talk sense into people. I got all kind of great content, man, but nobody listens. If it don't bleed, it don't lead. But there is this little tiny microcosm of information that we can disseminate. And I'm willing to start it with you. This is why I came up on the panel today, and I appreciate you, brothers, man. Yeah, I'm a yeoman. I don't know what that means. I think I do. But from a military perspective, Mike, don't chat me. Chin's kind of weak on that word. But I'm willing to put in the work. We need to have these forums and push through the veil. Damn the wall. You know how many walls I've been through? You know how many walls Strictly has been through? You know how many walls? And you've been through real walls.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Shot, stabbed, and blown up. I want to ask you those questions so
And
bad.
beat
But
up many times.
this show.
Yeah, I don't really share a lot of that.
We don't want to know those war stories. But these young brothers, you know, in a metaphorical way, need to hear them.
Well, metaphorically speaking, most men dying on their deathbeds today will not wake up tomorrow. Can't even imagine the things that I've done in my lifetime. And that's real.
I know that. And that is tough man privilege.
But my whole objective with sharing knowledge is not about the actual activity itself, but the outcome of the activity and the hardship of that activity, and how I think I said it earlier and I'll say it again. If you become a beast,
I heard that.
you become a beast.
That's why I call myself a beast of no nations.
No, if you become a beast, you become oblivious to the pain of man.
Mm.
And so
I heard you say that earlier, Mike.
You just have to. And what we don't do, we don't endeavor to become a beast in what we do. We go there to get along or to get a job or to work for somebody else or to realize other people's dreams and not do it for ourselves. We sit back, we retire, and we wait on to die.
So, Michael, I would like to suggest it would be great for you, as you are working with Norm, to, and I'm sure you're doing this already, but at least on these panels, to consciously and cautiously, and at times even gently, coach out that beast. Because guess what? You're not the first beast, and you won't be the last. My father was a beast, a beast of no nation. Traveled from Monroe, Louisiana on the rail cars. A little boy traveling up through the South. My mother came up from the South. So bringing out that beast, there are processes to it, there are levels to it. And especially for you, Mike, it's very complicated because a lot of our brothers are cream puffs. Never met a man like you. You might even want to consider doing a boot camp through Zoom or through YouTube. Watch your language.
I'm already doing something like that, as a matter of fact. Socialization of abuse. No, but listen carefully. The socialization of abuse. My one podcast has to do with my company, Norm Therapy.
I watched it.
However, we have thousands of more videos you haven't seen that we don't even post, but we will in the future start posting more and more as we grow. We're on 6 continents right now. The only continent we're not on is Antarctica, with Norm therapists and patients around the world. So that's not our problem. Building a proper platform, and that's what I'm doing here in Dubai in the Middle East right now, is just building it and doing it outside of the confines of certain countries and jurisdictions, so I can do all the things I need to do and get it solidified before I bring it full scope back in, or full circle, I should say. Now,
Full circle,
saying that,
Michael.
that's one thing. Now, saying that, I want to go to what I was actually trying to say. Is I'm starting a new podcast this week, I think, this weekend, and Strick will be my first guest on it, and it's called The Strong and the Wise. And what people need to know is what does strength look like? Most people don't know what it means to be strong. They think they're strong. They believe that they have the elements and the components in their lives to make themselves, viable, useful, and strong.
It's a
But they don't
lie.
always have it. And so it's more of a mirage than it is reality. And then what are the outcomes, potential outcomes and benefits of that strength so far as wisdom is concerned? And how do you apply that forward in whatever today's messages or today's missions are? That's what Stronger Than Wise will be about. And I'll start that this coming weekend. It'll more than likely be strict tonight to start it out because we got a bunch of stuff to talk about, and I'm doing that for my own personal. No matter because once I finish funding my company, Norm Therapy, I'm going to be in the world in about 50 places at the same time for the next few years, and I know that because that's what it'll require to make this company a success. However, when I do podcasts like this with Strict on his channel, I come with one purpose in mind to dissect and to cultivate what we dissect between him and I over 25 years of friendship, travel together. We've been in every kind of transaction you can possibly imagine. We've done all kinds of women and situations around the world. So we get it. We know we can help people, but we're not out there just to get a piece of ass. And a lot of people, I think, get on the internet and they think because they attract women, they got some numbers that they should, become low-minded in their activity. We're trying to stay not high-minded or better than anybody, but just to remain decent. I'm an ass. I curse. I fight. I
Yeah,
do all
you
kinds of
do,
crap.
Mike, and
Yeah,
you're
I do.
better than
But
that,
at the
brother.
no, not the, no, no. It's okay. I like it.
You're
I enjoy
good,
myself.
soldier.
But what I'm trying to tell you is, I actually enjoy it. But
Yeah, you do.
I'm
You
not trying
do.
to hurt. I'm not trying to hurt people. And I think that's the difference in today's society. People are trying to hurt you to get ahead. They go out of their way to be vicious to get
Mm.
ahead, and they do it for no apparent reasons. So I'm just saying all that to make clear to you that when I'm talking to Strict, and we talk all the time for years, and we can go 6 months without talking and pick back up the conversation like we have on a couple of occasions, but not many. We just not talk for months, and next thing you know, we're talking again, and it's like it was yesterday. Because when you're friends, you're just friends. But way we can help people, I think, not just education in the traditional sense, not even in an avant-garde or informal manner. Those types of educations are good, but if we can help them facilitate their dreams, and not everybody have the dream of business. Some people have the dream of just existing in a place or preparing themselves for something better than themselves. And if we can help facilitate that, I think we can start a really decent movement of
We
support.
can do that, Mike. We can do that
Like,
strictly.
Yep.
like you just
This,
got up and went to Thailand. People want to get up and just go to California and are afraid to do that. You get it? They
Mike,
want to leave Detroit and go to California, but they can't see it.
I said to so many of my relatives in Philadelphia, you don't need a passport to move to Los Angeles.
Okay.
And you work for Blue Cross, and they've
Okay.
got a position for you out there, but they won't do it. My mother and father weren't like that. They're like, I'm out of here. Like you said earlier, I'm not here because I'm accepted. I'm not here because I wanted to be accepted by Thailand. All I've got to do is file my 90-day report, and I'm boots on the ground, period.
Mhm.
It's real transactional, and I like that. Not with the women who in the world would come to Thailand and walk down to a soy and pick up a girl out of a bar. I don't get it. I was in Los Angeles. I could have drove down to Figueroa, a way shorter trip.
Mhm.
Sent the chick home in an Uber for about $25. Come on, man. Are you serious? We've got a problem in our community that wise and experienced gentlemen like us, or you, I won't include myself, because I've made some crazy decisions. Mike, I'm over here in Thailand, man. I don't know how I'm gonna work it. Because every year you got to re-up. And I'm like, man, I was in America. I didn't have to do nothing but every 4 years go down to the DMV and take a new picture. Why did I come here? I'm still trying to figure that out. I just needed to get out of I just needed to leave the scene of my crimes. Not my crimes, but the crimes that were committed against my family, me, all that stuff that we deal with strictly. And with all due respect, my brother, you have no idea what it's like to be black in a foreign land. And I'm not talking about Thailand. I'm talking about being ADOS. They don't even know what to call you. They're not even going to pay you back for all the land they took. I don't want no money from slavery. That's cool. But I know you took some of my people's land. I didn't know this. So can we get some reparations for that alone? But these young brothers don't meet grown, strong, accomplished, battle-tested. Say it again. Battle-tested. Can pull a gun on you just as fast. Shout out to Linda, who was up on Zed's panel with Chris. I can shoot you too. Don't know if y'all saw that video about the black female cop who shot a guy trying to take her gun. She said, I'm going to shoot you. I'm going to kill you. That was like a year or two ago in New York. And she killed him. They don't know any. People from the African diaspora don't quite understand, to me, in my belief. Don't call yourself black, first and foremost. You don't want to be black. Claim your nationality. That's way more significant to me as you travel the globe. Claim your nationality. I have no nationality. I was born and raised there, but I'm a beast of no nations. I don't even know where my bloodline comes from. I've done my DNA. Please. But what we need brothers like y'all to do, and I'm with it. I'm with the shits. To come up on these panels, create this whole nother stream of consciousness as you're streaming. I know a little something about streaming, really do. I can help you. I can help you grow. I can live the last years of my life and die happy knowing that I got a message out. Or I was instrumental in getting the message out. And it's not even about my message. With this technology piece, kind of get it. I keep studying it. And the last carpet I lay on this planet, on this earth, wherever it is, it's not about like, oh, I'm still chasing the best sex I ever had. Please, I had that with black women. It's not about sex to me and Patia. Please. These girls, man, I don't like salami. So if we can create these kind of forums, perhaps we can compete. If we can create these kind of forums, perhaps that competition will lead to education. And as the topic relates, cultural perspectives on intimate relationships overseas. I probably would have renamed that title. I can teach you guys, well, not, I can't teach you shit. You grown ass men, and way more travel to me, but I can share with you what I'm learning and have learned about being on the YouTube platform and going to their studio in Los Angeles and by invite and bringing some of my other broadcasters from my network with me. My proudest moment is when I shook the hand of Jim Brown, NFL legend. So if we can create this men's forum, traveling men's forum, Passport Bros forum, how to live overseas forum, keep your channel name, share the content through the streaming services that we're on right now, get the word out. In 1973, one of the most influential songs I ever heard was from the band War.
Good God, yo.
It was one of their most venerable albums. And the title of the album is Deliver the Word. I know it's frustrating, Mike, because you're in the psychology industry. It's got to be frustrating, my brother, to figure out what the F went wrong. Well, you know, the gamification of love. Get an app. Go overseas.
Oh, I know exactly what went wrong. Oh, I teach this at our norm therapy school.
But
What I
spread the word, brother.
Yeah, but I'm not going to spread it too much because people pay me money to learn
Well, yeah, yeah,
that.
not
So
that part, Mike, but
yeah,
to lure some of these young brothers into psychotherapy.
well, not psychotherapy. What the biggest problem in society, the most pervasive, the most ubiquitous problem, is abuse, and it's self-abuse. To be honest, that's the biggest abuse on the planet. We abuse ourselves because we're constantly conditioning ourselves to believe bullshit, and that's the problem. And I can go into that in several layers, but I'm going to leave that one alone because I
But
think
Mike, if I
you
abuse is
gotta
the
let me finish. Gotta let me
concept.
finish. Gotta let me finish.
All right, I'm
You gotta
sorry.
let me finish. You know, and it's okay. I know you're the one that I remember you like to interject your point, and that's okay. I
I'm a
get
bow
that.
cell. I'm a bow cell.
Well, that has nothing to do with it. It has to do with let's just put it this way. It has to do with respect. So let's just respect one another's word on this platform. And I will. I've been very quiet. I know
My
the
bad,
first
brother.
time we had a couple clashes, but I don't want to go back there. I want to stay, focused. And I think you come up with some pretty interesting topics that, merits and even warrants discussion. I like that. But I think our biggest problem is we've been so, I mean, black people, Asian people, even downtrodden whites everywhere have been so denigrated and reduced to lower levels of existence that we have to make ourselves believe that our existence is real to us. We have to make ourselves understand that surviving is a way of life. We make ourselves understand that we're gonna make it in a place where we can never make it. And we fool ourselves. We create these temporary existences, they're called facades, by which and through which we operate. That's our problem. And the moment we stop creating facades and start to create alter egos, once we create an alter ego instead of a facade, then we can start living by truth. But that journey from false to or from fake to hyperbole and that fake hyperbole to veracity and truth is a long journey. The easiest person in the world to lie to is yourself. The easiest person, even though it's impossible to lie to yourself.
Not for
Hey,
me, Mike. Yeah,
hey,
not for me.
Rick, listen, I got orange hair, purple eyes, and a blue nose. My woman look at me and go, "You crazy? You crazy? You don't have any orange hair, purple noses, and blue lips or whatever the hell I said." She'll look at me and say that. But what happens if I walk in on Thursday and I slap the hell out of her for no apparent reason? And I'm leaving you. I'm going home to mom and f you and blah blah blah. And then on Saturday, she looks at me wrong. I slap her again, and she's asking herself, "Why am I still here with you? No man's ever treated me like that." And then a couple of weeks later, I slap her for no apparent reason. And I continue to do that. And I become more frequent in that behavior because she's still there. You remember, people will only ever do to you what they think they can get away with. So I just keep getting away with it. And I keep beating her. And 6 months later, she'll look at me as we get out the shower together. And she thinks we're having a good day. And she'll say, you need to use a little bit more soap to get rid of that blue on your nose and that orange hair. Why don't you go ahead and shave a little bit more on your hair because you're bald and that orange hair is sticking out? She'll start to condition herself to believe that I have blue nose and orange hair because that's what I've been telling her every time I slapped her. We condition ourselves to be abused and we believe those lies. You know the girl. Come on now. You know the girl. She'll walk up to you, to your face. She has a cracked eye. She has a cracked eye socket. She has a swollen lip. And she's holding her chest like she's holding her rib. And she'll look you right in your face and she'll say, "He beats me because he loves me." She's pathological. and she doesn't
Mike,
even know it.
I've not had that experience.
Of course not. It's not
Every
hypothetical. This is a real case I'm talking about. But I'm just
every
not
now
using
and
any
then,
names.
even Wayne Brady got a choker beat. That's a reference
Yeah.
to a.
Yeah, I know. I remember the joke. But that's not true. But see, that's not true. We've been taught
Every
that
now and then.
generationally, right? Even as a joke,
Sometimes even
even as
Wayne
a
Brady.
joke. I know. Even Wayne Brady got a choker bitch. I don't mind saying
Yeah.
it. But I'll just say this to you. And it's not because I don't have the conversation, vernacular, or the vocabulary. I just like saying you're gonna choke a bitch. And when you're comfortable, and that's what I teach people, when you're comfortable just being you and without the desire to offend others, then who cares what comes out of your mouth? Especially if the people understand you and they know that you're being authentic you. And that's why I cringe when people say, "Oh, I don't want to hear cussing. I don't want to hear. I could care less what you want to hear. This is what I want to say." And I'm voicing my opinion. And I don't always use profanity, but when I do, I can care less what people think about it. I really
But
could
there's a
care less.
platform for that, Mike.
Yeah, there is. And that's what people say to each other. There's a
Yeah.
platform. But what you forget when you say that is that if you're going to use that kind of language, that's your platform. Own it.
Right. Right.
And that's where we miss the ball. People say a lot of cliches, bro, to get through whatever the circumstance is. They just do. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree, and I'll say that as clear as I can. Apple doesn't.
Platitudes.
A lot of platitudes, a lot of cliche statements and axiomatic expressions.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly, they say that, but it doesn't mean shit. It doesn't mean anything.
But
take
Michael,
it so
I'm going to
seriously.
challenge you on that. I want to go ahead, please
Go ahead,
continue.
you can always challenge me. Challenge is good. I don't mind that. But when I retort, you got to listen. But let me finish my statement, then make your challenge. That's okay.
Yes.
If you go through life trying to appease people, it puts you in a category of a certain level of people pleasing. There's a difference between a person who pleases people and a person who's a people pleaser. And the difference is, and this is what shocks most people because they're accustomed to people pleasers. So what do? They allow themselves to give commands to others in a hortatory fashion. They allow themselves to say things like, well, let's not use that language. And we shouldn't be able to do this. And we, la, 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 inclusive of themselves in their statements to you to curtail whatever behavior or conversations you're having. But if that's your authentic self, you sometimes have to bear the burden of that authentic self, not for any kind of gain, but just to maintain equilibrium within you. And that's what most people lose perspective on, is losing their own balance when they're dealing with others. That's what most people cower under to others. So we teach people how to be the authentic self. And once they're truly raw and authentic and truthful to a fault, then you start to tone down your message and eliminate any kind of profanity if necessary, or any kind of foul epithet or language out of your vocabulary. That's when you do that. But you have to fully immerse yourself in rawness first. If you're not totally you and you start to, I can't say this around them, don't say that because they don't like it. Now, of course, there's appropriate things for everything. Around kids, you shouldn't do it. Around very sensitive people, don't have the deep conversations. And if you're about to say something, say, if you really don't want to hear this, leave. Give them an option. You don't have to hear it, but I'm going to be raw. If you preface what you're saying and people stick around, it's up to them how they feel about it. And you should not care because you've given them ample warning and understanding. And you did it in context with your development, not their feelings. That's where most people lose in life, if they care about how the other people feel instead of how the other people operate, or how they want to be received by those people, connect with those people, and make sure those people are part of their lives on the real, and not just some placated environment that they create in order to tolerate one another. And this is our problem. And I can go into that in great detail. Matter of fact,
No. You need to save that for your website. I've been there, and you.
No, not my website. I have a podcast that I say a lot on. Plus, we train people in our school.
I watched you in Strictly the other night, And I get it. And I think that everything you said is, you know, anything I do for money, anything that's worth doing for money is worth doing. But that doesn't mean everything I do is for money. It's my philosophy. So out here in these YouTube streets and these concepts of monetization where we don't really think about that stuff. I played the monetization game, in case you don't know, with YouTube. Again, I've been to the LA campus, blah, blah, blah. It never made a dime. I might have made a dime off YouTube back in the day. Things have changed. You got to be real careful what you say out here. That's why Patreon exists. And you have extremely valuable content. But I will say to you, especially when addressing some of these hypersensitive young people who are triggered by some of their experiences and dope houses and baby daddies arguing with the mama who's not your father, not in your case. There's a lot of psychosis that is outpacing psychology, psychiatric technology even.
I mean, mental defectiveness.
Yeah, there's a lot of that developing. But on a platform that is free and global simultaneously, and for someone like yourself, I considered this when I went to your website, like, wow, I'm gonna keep it real with you, my brother. He's talking kind of reckless to be the CEO and founder of an organization that helps people who've been traumatized and abused. Now, Mike, I have this philosophy.
Wait a minute, did you just call me reckless?
Yeah. So I have this philosophy.
No, well, no, I can't let that stand. No, you can't insult some. Hold on, we don't want to go there again. You can't insult someone without explaining what you just mean by what is reckless. Tell me. Telling people the truth?
Well,
saying fuck or shit or piss or damn. Is that reckless?
It's the profanity side.
That's not, if you sit in one of my sessions, brother, you'd laugh.
Really?
My patients use more profanity than I'll ever use.
You got me there.
Here's the thing. I do. But I think when you prejudge someone based on the words that come out of their mouth and you base it on something that's not in context, then I think that's very myopic and wrong. I think the way you get to your true self, like for instance, you don't like to wait till somebody finish talking. So somebody has to tell you to stop talking so they can talk. That's very regular with you. We're accustomed to that, strict and I. We know that's how you are. So we defer to you oftentimes when you speak. But then every now and then, with a sleight of hand, you'll throw an insult in there, something that offends you. Not necessarily the masses, not necessarily my clients, and not necessarily me, but definitely you say something offensive. And then you want to brush it over as if it's true, and we collectively believe in it. So you're actually doing the exact same thing I was saying that people do when they're trying to hurt you. They say it's about we, to convince me to come to your side. It's okay, because I know where you're coming from. You say you don't want to monetize YouTube, you don't want to do this, and you don't want to do that. But yes, I think you do. I would be remiss if I didn't say, because if there's some sharp person out in the audience right now, or some cunning person that knows what we're talking about, they're probably thinking, this guy is auditioning to be with these guys because they got a lot of money, they got clout, they got all this kind of stuff. So he wants to be a part of that. And I think, you would be a great addition, but not at the expense of taking leeway and saying to me that what I'm doing is reckless. I guarantee you, if you were a willing participant in norm therapy, because norm therapy will not work unless you are completely open and willing to listen and to apply the techniques you're taught. Maybe you won't end up cursing, but you won't be as offended by it because you'll know from where people are coming. And if you know from where people are coming with them, you know where you're going with them. If you don't know from where they're coming and you don't appreciate it, even if you don't like it, even if it is insulting to you, If you don't understand that, you'll never go anywhere with them. And this is the breakdown of human behavior. You ever heard of Dunning-Kruger? There's a concept called
I have not.
Dunning-Kruger. Okay? It's called the Dunning-Kruger effect. When people who think that they're very intelligent about something and they think they're voicing their opinions about something based on their own experiential knowledge and their own education, they're oftentimes very wrong because they're not accepting any outside information or any type of influence on their own opinions. And that's what happens to most people when they think they know something. And they're oftentimes very wrong. And they oftentimes fail because they don't listen and they're very wrong. And likewise, people who think they're very dumb and they really don't count and they really don't matter are oftentimes the smartest girl or guy in a room because it's impossible for you to self-evaluate without bias. It is just impossible. You will always have an element of bias in everything you do. So when I listen to people, and I listen extremely careful, I took it with a grain of salt because I know your characters. You've assassinated my character on a few times, and a few people I've heard you talk to on the internet. You assassinated them too. But that's your style. And every time you try to assassinate me, I stop you. And I'm just going to say to you now, just because if we're going to do something together, and I'd love to do something with you, you cannot do that. I think if we're going to attack anything, let's attack the issues. Let's superimpose our angst over something that matters, but let's not attack each other. Because I can attack you in ways that will not be pleasant. I have not done it yet. I've just only tried to clear things up with you. And there probably will never come a time when I want to attack you. I'll just stop dealing with you before I go and use up that much energy. So let's not do that. So I want for the audience and you and posterity and history and everything else to say, don't do that again, because I'm not going to take it nor agree with it, nor am I going to laugh at it. I'm not one of those guys. I'm just not him. I'll never be that guy. So I'm asking you just as a favor and as out of respect for the things that I have done in my life, things that I am doing now, and the thousands of people around the world that I've helped with cursing and being myself and being awesome with them and bodacious and clear and without any kind of hyperbolic or hyperbole in our conversation. People know me this way. So let me just finally say in the end, so we'll go because I have to leave in a few minutes. And I really want you to know this. I want to do something with you. And yes, who I am, who Strict is, we can facilitate any possible thing you can imagine. We could. Whether we want to or not will be the problem if you keep this up. That's all I can say to you, bro. I think people like what you have to say. I think you resonate with people. But you always got to have that little, and I'm not going to say forgive my French. This is English. You always got that little asshole thing at the end. And you got to stop that. You really do. It doesn't hurt. It's just against my grain for someone to denigrate me to my face and me just go along with it. That's not going to happen. I don't have to know you, and that's the better part of valor. I don't have to know you, and I don't have to hurt you. I don't have to come after you. I don't have to be bad to you. I don't have to nothing. But I'd rather come to Thailand and say, "What you doing, bro? Let's get up, your Vocel ass. Let's go downtown and hang out and pay for everything, so you can stay out after 9:00."
What did you just call me, man? What'd you call me?
Yeah. Vocel ass.
Okay. What's Vocel mean again?
Bro, I have no idea. I know it's Vocel. You keep saying it. A voluntary somebody.
Celibate.
Yeah, voluntary celibate. That's ridiculous. Yeah, I know, but Marcus Aurelius would look at you and laugh. You know that, right?
I should get laid, huh?
Yeah, Marcus Aurelius would look at you and laugh because he was one of the ultimate Stoics, and I study Stoicism. I'm involved in Theta and quite a few other things, but reaching some type of what people would call Zen or some type of ascended level where you can be at peace with yourself, you have to consider all things good and bad, and you have to bring balance to everything. If I stop sleeping with women just because, I don't like the women in the area, then I just go to another area.
Is that how you interpret my Vostelism?
No, I think it's self-imposed because you believe that it is something that appeals to people in some way, and that they see you as noble for having done it. Honestly, anybody who tells me they're a vocel, and they're not a monk or on some path or a priest, and even priests are getting laid, even if it's whatever they do. But if somebody tells me that, it's impossible for me to believe, because I deal with people who deal with sexual addiction, people who deal with narcissistic abuse, physical abuse, domestic violence, political abuse. You name the abuse, we have 24 abuse, PTSD. And one of the things that people who self-impose injury to them, or
Yeah, it's
self-hurt,
not injury, Michael.
self-harm. Yeah,
It's
but
not
no, it
self-harm.
is injury. It is unhealthy.
Oh, come on,
It is
Michael.
unhealthy not to release
Not
for a
to
man.
buy prostitutes. Is that what you mean?
And I don't know what your circumstances is there, so I
Well,
can't
I'm
really
in
speak to that.
Thailand. I like black women. They don't live here, so should
Yeah,
I
but
take
you
a break?
chose to be in Thailand, bro. That's the
Yeah.
whole thing.
Should I have gone to
Thai
Africa
women, there's some
and
black
have
Thai
sex
women,
with African women who don't know me?
bro. I don't know what your dating circumstances. All I know is I would have never gone to a country where the kind of women that would, be to my liking isn't there. I would
I
never have
wanted
gone there.
to I wanted to check you on that on previous uh, streams, but so and I asked you this, and Strictly was up on the panel at the time on Zed's channel. What should I do? Should I move
Leave. Yes, leave.
and go where?
Go,
And go where?
go.
I want.
I don't know. If you want my
I
advice,
like black
solicit
women.
it, but don't ask me as if I need to put my hands up in the air and figure it out for you. I think, what is you? I tell you what, I'll give you a 3-question questionnaire. Okay, 3 questions. First, what do you like in women?
Black women.
Second, okay, black women. Second,
Slim
how
booty.
do you like the? How does it matter to you what they look like? What does it matter?
Slim goodies.
What do you want? A slim
Slim
goodie.
women.
From on a scale of 1 to 10, the beauty. Tell me, scale of 1 to 10, beauty.
The whole scale, ugly or pretty.
Okay, let's just be safe, bro. Go with 6 or 7. Okay, go there. Just go with 6 or
All
7.
right, so
That'll always
but
make.
if I could color my response by saying this, I refer to music a lot in my dialogue on these panels. There was a reggae song called "The Uglier the Girl, the Tighter the Hole."
Yeah, well, so it's looking. So you're basically saying you're looking for ass too, and that's okay.
If I were,
I want to.
if I were.
Yeah, but no. Come on, let's be real brothers with each other. That's what it means. I've been around the world.
Why you laughing, Strictly? Why you laughing?
Strick know what I'm talking about. Strick and I have been through so many women on this planet. It's not even funny.
And you had
It's
some
not
ugly
because
girls.
it was a game.
You had some
But it's
ugly
not-
girls with some tighter holes. Stop playing.
No, it's not about that though. If you make it about that, that's all you'll be ever find. You have to.
What was the
There are
third
women
part?
who will sleep with you. No, bro. Let's listen. There are women who will be with you for real, have your back if you just
You
show appreciation.
Think,
Bro.
Michael, that I haven't had women who have given me
I'm
that.
not saying you
in
didn't.
America.
I'm talking about what you asked me where to
Okay.
go, and I'm telling you what to do when you get there.
All right, so
That's
where
all
should
I'm
I?
saying.
I left
The
America.
last thing I want to ask you is, are you willing to make those necessary changes within yourself from vocel to a person who has patience? Because if you're a vocel, volunteer celibate, that means you must have a hell of a lot of patience. But instead of directing that patience toward avoiding sex, maybe you should direct that patience on waiting for the right kind of sex and the right kinds of people or person. Because sometimes you can get everything you want in one woman, and other times you may need 3. It depends upon what your status is, it depends upon what you're looking for and what you're honest about. I guarantee you, if you go in with the mindset, there in Thailand or anywhere in the world, if you go into with the mindset that I appreciate you first, even if I know you're a bullshitter, even if I know you're a bullshitter, even if I know you're a whore,
Suggest I go. If
I think you
just
should go to
want
Africa.
find love.
I think you should go to Africa, but don't have this conversation we're having there. Because brothers and sisters,
Where
over
in
there,
Africa?
they see through.
Where in Africa?
I'd say probably South Africa would be a good start for you. South Africa would be a very good start. But if you want some really beautiful women, I think go to Ethiopia, Eritrea, those kinds of places. But make sure there's no conflict going on because when they go to war, they don't care who they kill. I'm just letting you know that straight up. So be careful. Go to CIA.gov slash facts, FACTS, CIA.gov/facts. And you go there and it'll give you a rundown on every country in the world. It'll
But
tell you what you watch out for, what the problem is, and everything else. And do one of those smaller research projects.
but
And
Michael,
then you go on.
And strictly before you start, I heard what Mike just said, and that's a lot of research. I just want to sit still for a minute because I just left the scene of the crimes. So what would you suggest, my brother, being from the Congo?
I would say the exact same thing. South Africa. Why? Because South Africa doesn't have any major problem as long as you're in the right neighborhood. So I would go for Cape Town because
Yeah, Cape Town.
Cape Town is cheap.
Right.
It's cheap, and then you have a nice. So you have exactly.
By cheap, what do you mean by the month? If you brothers could answer that question, because I was really wanting to ask you that on another panel. What do you mean by cheap? Because I'm cheap.
We don't normally live like that, bro. We normally don't live like that, but we do go everywhere and we look.
I know that. I saw you in Strictly's live the other day. I'm like, Mike, man, I wish I had them eggs. I wish I had that breakfast. You in Dubai too? Oh my God. Because they can't cook out here. They can't cook for brothers like American brothers like me and Mike. Out here, eggs, I better off buying my own. But what would you suggest?
Well, here's the thing. I mean, you can get the place in South Africa in Cape Town for $300-$400, $450.
Are you serious?
Of course, yeah. Yep, in Cape Town, of course you can.
All right, so let's start with the low end, 300.
Yeah, you can find something for 300 definitely.
Because listen, I'm not living in a high rise.
Hold on,
I'm living in a nice little 1-bedroom with good space, a kitchenette, fully furnished. And again, want to drill down into the cultural perspectives on intimate relationships. If I were to find love abroad,
South Africa.
Are y'all saying South Africa? Because look, I don't look that bad, man. I'm not that bad looking, Mike, as an old man.
I'm not thinking you are. I never thought that
Good.
at all.
I'm not
That's
saying,
why I was wondering why you were this Vocel character. I was like, what the hell is he talking about?
But what's wrong with taking a break, Mike?
Nothing's wrong with taking a break, but Vocel isn't a break. It's a way of life, you told me.
No, Vocel is a hashtag, homie.
Okay, homie. Okay, what is it? You got to stop that whole thing. We're going to get upset.
I apologize, Mike.
Yeah, let's just be respectful.
Vocel Mike is a hashtag.
Okay, yeah, let's look at this thing, right?
All right, hold on. Before you go there, Strictly, I want to clarify. Mike, I came up with that like a couple of weeks ago based off the incel concept. I was thinking to myself, based on my religion, which I won't go into, how about being a vocel, a voluntary celibate, after having been something the antithesis of? After
you were a hoe before, in other words.
I didn't say that, Michael.
No, you said being the antithesis of vocel.
Those are your words, not mine. And
HOWRE.
That's not what I was saying. No, I was not a hoe. Never been a hoe.
Let's go. Listen, bro.
What I'm asking in this conversation, and I'm pushing the edge of the conversation, is where else could I go?
What you want to do is start there. Listen to Strick. He's about to tell you something that's going to save you years, bro.
But look here. Look, rent one of an apartment in Cape Town. How much it says in the bottom?
I need you to translate that for me. If it's not in dollars.
205 euros a month.
Yeah, about like $210.
245.
205, let's say about $225 $230.
But that's in euro. In US, what is that? Like 245, 250?
It's about the same. Let's put 20% more. Let's put 240. You're gonna save.
Okay, I could do that. That's cheaper than what I'm paying.
Okay, you see, then that's look at the choices you have. You have as low as 143, and you have this is Cape Town, 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom.
One of
So
the best places to be in the whole country.
How does anybody know that unless you guys do this on this panel?
That's why we're
The
telling you
reason,
now. You have to prompt the
I,
question. We don't think about this stuff often.
yeah,
We
but
don't deal
so
with this.
let me quarterback this a little bit. Give me like a one or two plays. This is what
How
we need
about
to be talking about. Because
how about
listen,
this play?
Mike,
How about this play? How about you getting on a plane? Do something. We make an issue out of this. Get on a plane, get a plane ticket, and get you a round trip. Leave your stuff in Thailand if you want. Go to South Africa for a few $100 for that month, plus another few hundred just to spend in incidentals, and
can we
just
get a
hang
full
out.
pause on that 2 bedroom? Go
look at
back
it.
to that 2 bedroom.
Okay,
Let's go. That's two
we do
bedroom.
that. We promote the hell out of that.
154. That's less than what I'm paying in Thailand right now.
Look what you're getting.
Who knows this?
Look,
We do.
look,
Well, what I'm saying, I just stop. I don't want to see no more. I can't even eat
Don't.
the food here,
Don't.
Mike. Mike,
I know.
stop it. Now you're
Is
making
it
me
that bad? Is
real
it that
jealous.
bad, really?
Stop.
Is it that bad?
Yeah,
mean,
bro, I
look.
didn't know.
yep.
Listen, in my 60s, I didn't know. I just wanted to
Got it.
leave the scene of the crime. So how about we create this platform and not bring brother to party? I didn't know you guys when I saw Richie Mack and Chalk and I was on Kevin Samuel's channel flaming him for his lineup in the front of his head because I know with a brother with a full frontal head of hair never gets your front of the head lined up by anybody. So we don't know this, brothers. We don't know this. There are so many black men who would love to escape the states, and that all funneled into the Passport Bro movement. There's another movement called the Exodus. Just like you mentioned this earlier, Norm, you mentioned this earlier about the Great Exodus. So
it's not an exodus because brothers are trying to leave, though. See, I don't want to be confused in that statement.
I get that.
No, bro. We got time, so let me just finish. We got time.
Okay.
Let me finish. I don't want to
Okay.
confuse the term because exodus means that we're not actually extricating ourselves like the jaws of life, cutting somebody out of a car. We're not doing that. What's
I felt
actually
that way coming
happening
here, though, Norm.
is we're being socially, economically, oftentimes physically, and institutionally ousted from the little that we do have. And as gravity and as propulsion works, it normally moves to the point of least resistance. And where you find least resistance is in the conversation we're having right now with Strick. And he's naming to you what sometimes I spend in lunch for your whole month stay in a beautiful place with beautiful women and opportunities for you probably to get some work once you get your residency and all kinds of things there and not have any problems with safety or anything else. Of course, you got to be careful with whatever you do anywhere in the world. It doesn't matter.
But can
With the
I smoke my
exception, pretty much.
ganja?
No, I don't know about that there, but I don't want to speak to that. But I'll
Can
tell
I
you
mind
this.
smoking ganja?
Yeah, but in South Africa, you got to be careful anywhere you go. That's all I'm trying to say to you. But when you get there, people will see right through your conversation, especially if you're an American. They're going to be expecting something else for you to say. And maybe the vocel and all of the conversation that you have, they will hear you and they won't understand. They won't get you. I promise you. No matter how much you talk to them, no matter how you shove it down their throats, they won't even try to get you because they have certain expectatives when it comes to people from around the world, especially from the West. They really do, or from some other place that's supposedly you're supposedly sophisticated. So
How
that's
long
what
does
I'm
it
trying to
take to
tell you.
get past that, Mike?
In my estimation, if you're being
If I was
honest
shaking
with
off the
yourself,
shackles of my bondage as an ADOS who left the plantation, aka, as I say, escaped the scene of the crimes of my ancestors, perpetrated against them. How long does it take as a traveler to shape those things, man?
In context, let me just quickly just get this out. Then I'm going to leave in a few minutes, guys. I do have some things to do here.
Me too. Me
but
too.
And it's lunchtime. But I want to say this. That's your big problem right there. You've escaped the plantation, but the plantation is still with you. Your mindset. Of course, Mike.
You're retired military. You had all of that experience.
Let me finish.
All of that experience,
bro. You need to hear this. It takes one day to make a decision. It takes a lifetime to live by that decision. So what you have to first to do, I think, and I tell patients this, I tell friends this, I've given this advice around the world. Just sometimes back up and regroup and come back another day to deal with issues. Oftentimes you need to give it time to germinate and to resonate with you before you begin to try to implement. If I say to you, the best thing you can do right now is not be a vocel and never say that again. Never say it again to anybody live, because people put you, they really settle you at a lower level of existence when you say
pigeonhole me. I understand that.
Put you in a dark place with people.
It's
never
branding.
Say that again.
It's branding.
If you never say that again, if you never interrupt a person again, if let's say I said these two things, never interrupt another person and never say that again. Just like you violated it, even as I was saying it to interrupt me, and just like you said it a little while ago that you are a vocel is something you just came on to a few weeks ago and you started to justify it. People do that when they hurting themselves. And you are a perfect example of a person who needs to take the chains off of their soul. Take those chains of bondage off of your countenance, off of your spirit. And I think that's what you need. You're a good brother. You really are. You're not talking weak game. You know, you're not talking my game fully, but you can get there quickly if you like. But and I mean quickly. I mean like literally overnight. You wake up tomorrow morning, you have an aha moment. Like, from now on, I'm going to let people talk. And even if they say something I don't agree with, I'm going to make that note, write it down, take a couple days, a couple weeks, go study it, talk to people about it, get different perspectives on it. So when I come back to challenge, it won't be my opinion that matters. It'll be a collective understanding that I'm trying to engage. Not perfunctorily, as you said in your dictionary, but something is so a matter of fact to you. Because perfunctory engagement, we both know, is useless. So the end of the day, what you want to do are those two things. Those two things you do right now, you will get laid every day in South Africa. Because your woman will talk to you, get laid, have a girlfriend, whatever you want to do. But pay those pigeonhole, what do you call it? The whole.
Come on, man. That's where I should be right now.
That's what you said a few minutes ago. You said, what happened if it's the darker the chick, the tighter the hole? That's what you said you wanted to be.
I've been there, done that.
Echoing what you said.
That's why I said that.
But you use that in context now. So I'm only going by what you told me. I won't be defensive about it, but I'm going by your words. So let me leave those words alone. Let's say you don't want to just go get laid. Let's say you want somebody to choose you. In order for someone to choose you, the first thing you have to be is available and attentive and listen. That's the first thing you got to be if you want somebody to choose you. And that's the best thing in the world. And when a woman chooses a man, she doesn't play. She's in it for keeps. She's in it for the long run. She's in it to see where it goes. She's in it. When a man chooses a woman, he never knows. Second, brother?
Mike, I've been chosen a lot.
Well, good.
And I've given.
Then take that with you.
Hold on. I've given myself to that pursuit, and I'm not there anymore. What would you suggest?
Well, where are you? If you're not in it for the hole, the black hole, like you said, the charity typer. Okay, if you're not there for the availing yourself to women, what are you there for? What do you want to do? I can't tell you where to go, what to do, or even help you with that if I don't know what your objectives are, because they're unclear.
My objective
you don't want to get laid, then you do want to get laid. You want to have a relationship, then you don't want to have a relationship. I don't know. I wish I knew.
If I could clarify.
Go ahead, clarify, please.
I'm not moving anywhere to get laid. Anywhere.
Well, good. That's fine. But I'm just saying, based on your words, let's not go back there.
Yeah. All right. Cool. And so I was asking of the panel, what's cheaper than Patia? That's really all I was trying to get to. I'm not going to be here forever. Hey, and Mike, in case you don't know, I told you I can't even work over here on a retirement visa.
We talked about
Every 90 days, I got to tell them where I'm at. We're not used to that in America. I'm living off a visa. I've never done that before. I'm still learning. That's why I think these panels are important, to talk to brothers beyond the pussy. Pardon me.
No, pussy's okay. I'm not offended.
Beyond just a different panel, so I can say that. Beyond the hookers. You feel me? I'm not here for that. Love don't owe me nothing. But to escape the States, well, I'm curious. And I didn't know South Africa was like that when I left. I didn't. I'm going on 1 year in Patia, and it's been very, very good to me. Settling myself somewhere, sitting still, getting away from Los Angeles. I know you guys have not lived in Los Angeles. I would presume not as long as I have.
Los Angeles many times. My family.
But not as long as I've lived there. But not as long as I've lived.
I'm not trying to compare. Just I know Los Angeles.
No need for that, right? And I'm here to tell you, I lived in Atlanta for 1.5 years, right before the Olympics. I've lived in Philadelphia. I've lived around the country a little bit. My first time overseas, putting up the middle finger to America and saying, yeah, I got this from here on, America. I don't need your bullshit. What would you say to brothers like me in my 60s who aren't really trying to rediscover their sexual, fantasies? I'm not that dude. I've lived them. Just like you, Mike. Just like you, Strick. I've lived some fantasies. I've known rivers, as the song goes. I get it. But no, I don't travel for sex. I've never traveled for sex.
Well, good.
But what would you say to young brothers who are come up on these panels? And I hope this one becomes a very popular one. And if anything that I say might resonate with anybody who's listening, you got like 90 listeners right now. Well, teach us how to Dougie. Teach us how to Dougie. Michael.
I've been trying to tell you.
Mike, stop trying. Just do it. But when I say this to you, my brother, when I say it, I'm not talking to Strictly. I'm talking to you. Teach us how to Dougie. Teach us how to travel. Teach us how to move.
We just did. You have to take the first step. If you take off more, if you bite off more than you can chew, bite off more than you can chew, you're going to choke. So how about this? How about listen carefully? The first place that came out of my mouth and the first place that came out of Strick's mouth was South Africa. We know South Africa. We've been all over South Africa. I have a company in South Africa. I know South Africa. We both do.
Can I come there and work for your company in South Africa?
Not with this attitude, you can't. Not with this attitude, you can't. Not with this attitude, you can't.
Come on, Mike.
Change your attitude, we'll talk.
Give me a shot.
I tell that to anybody. I tell that to my mother.
Give me a shot, man.
Anyway, let's go back to your point. If we're going to teach brothers out there anything, what they need to do is become viscerally connected, not with you or me or Strick, but with themselves first. We lie to ourselves to a certain extreme. We look at the good and bad in everything we do. And that's never been enough to look at the good and the bad. What's always been enough is to not only look at the good, look at the bad, but also look at the ugly. The good thing is the car accident you had, your car didn't sustain much damage. The bad news is that you are going to
kill somebody.
Have to pay.
I've heard this analogy before.
Well, because
From
we
you.
teach it at our school. Okay,
From
good.
you. Yeah.
But let the audience hear it. How about that? Let the audience hear it. And I think it's important because the impact is important. The good point is one thing. The bad point is maybe the car will be out of commission and you'll have to pay $35,000 to get the other guy's car fixed. And the ugly news is that you killed a family of 3. We don't look at the ugly. We try to absolve ourselves and be right and not take responsibility or find any kind of guilt or culpability in anything that we do. That's what we do insofar as human nature is concerned. It's not always true. Some people have integrity, some people have honor, and they do the right thing. But in your case, when we're talking about going to South Africa, there are only 3 or 4 things that people look for in life. Believe it or not, they look for a good place to live, a good occupation, career, or a company. They look for a great mate or not, or love of something bigger than themselves. And they look to have a certain level of intelligence when it comes to discerning anything in life. Those 4 basic components people look for in life and in constant pursuit of all of their lives. And everything they do surround themselves around those things, with the exception of love. Love is the only thing that's independent of all of that, because everything I just mentioned to you is transactional. Love is the only thing on this planet that should not be transactional. And we make it. We live to our 60s and 70s, and all of our relationships have been tit for tat. You do this, I do that. But when it's transactional, it really isn't as meaningful or impactful in your life. So what I tell people to do about the good, the bad, the ugly, and these 4 things that I just mentioned is try to separate yourself into these 4 areas and then segregate a portion of your soul for the type of love you want to exude. And it don't have to be for a woman. It could be the love. Maybe you get to South Africa and you want to collect those straws that they suck through those cups there, and they're just, good objects to have, and you collect 50 of them and 100 of them, and that's one of the loves that you have, or some art or some type of automobile, an old automobile to restore. It could be anything that you love, but give it that exalted surrender that you should give love. Remember, when you say the word, when you use the word love, you say fall in love. We fell in love. She she swept me off my feet. I swept her off of hers, because you have to surrender to it. It's the surrendering to the humiliated self. And humiliation is a big part of love. You have to, you look at your girl and you go, oh, baby, give me a kiss. Yeah, mwah. You never talk like that around your boys. It's the humiliated self that allows love to occur. So find those components in South Africa, and I can guarantee you will. I can
Well,
guarantee you from experience or knowledge, you'll find them. And you don't have to have a girlfriend to do it. None of those
let's
things.
if we
Say
could
again?
talk about the affordability in these conversations as an
Back to
alternative to
transactions.
apatia, or those, you know, suspicious conversations, and have some
Nothing
grown
suspicious
man
about money.
conversations.
That's okay.
Well, I'm talking, when I say suspicious, I mean like, why'd you go to Patia? Those kind of conversations that I find
No, there's
myself.
nothing wrong with Patia, bro. You
Hey,
just got there and
bro,
found out you went
Patia
to a
is a
bad place.
beautiful place, man.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that spot. You just
It's
don't
just
like
like
it there.
living in
That's all.
Los Angeles and driving down Figueroa and seeing girls in G-strings and bras.
Yeah.
You ride right by it if you're going to the Disney Center in downtown Los Angeles. That's the easiest route to go, Figueroa. Less traffic, no highway, blah, blah, blah. I get it,
What does that
man.
have to do with what we're talking about? I want to get you somewhere, bro. You want to leave Patia? Do you want to leave Patia?
Not yet.
What I would do. Okay,
I'm,
well,
I'm
then let's
stacking
when
some
you're ready to
dollars.
leave Patia, let's talk about it. When you're ready to leave, let's talk about it. Seriously. I think
Okay.
South Africa would be the place I would go if I were you. I would save up for a ticket, save up for at least a week there at a very inexpensive place. Uh, get all your confirmations before you go. Apply for your visa online. Do all of those kinds of things. I
I
think they do
stuck the
online visa.
landing, Mike, when I got here. I think I could
Mhm.
stick the landing there as well.
Yeah, I think
But
you can too.
please,
I'm
please
rooting for you.
understand. Well, I'm gonna call you when I get there, so stop that rooting, tooting stuff.
Well, I'm not going to be
Hey,
in South
Mike,
Africa,
where
but
you
you can
at?
call me. Go ahead.
I'm gonna call you online. Hey, Mike, where you at? I'm at the airport. Come get me, and
Nah, it won't be
and
me.
set me up. No, I don't need that. I don't.
You'll be okay. You'll be okay. You'll get there and you'll fall in
But
place.
but to,
Trust me, you will.
but to both of you brothers, you know, this is our first time off the plantation, as they say, and I don't want to create any isms and schisms about the words. It's all semantics to me. This is my first time living abroad. Mike, I get it, man. You've been to 80 countries and blah, blah, blah. You've been deployed, is what I would suggest. And I think you should clarify that. You've been deployed. You are a proven battle veteran. But you might need to let these young brothers know I've been deployed. And that's important. That's what built Patia. Someone said that in Zed's conversation on the chat. Patia was built by, American soldiers for R&R. That's true, but it's not like that now. When I look out off my patio, all I see is high rises. I can see the ghost tower down off the beach, the berth of where you can catch a boat to go to Kolan. I walked down there, rode some bot buses. We don't. So, Michael, I'll say this to you, and hopefully this will clarify where I come from. It took the bravery of my parents coming from the Jim Crow South to tell me their short stories about the fact that they weren't from Philadelphia. What do you mean, Mom? What do you mean, Dad? What city were you from? And they started to explain to me why they came to Philadelphia. How one of my mother's older sisters established the first outpost from North Kakalaka to Philadelphia and brought other relatives up who moved on beyond Philadelphia. In my age group, it is us like not being soldiers, not having the experience of sponsored travel. With all due respect, salute to your service. For us to really begin to realize there's something beyond the plantation, perhaps something beyond, for me, I call it the scene of the crime. Man, I'm tired of being identified as an ADOS, but I'll accept that. I'm tired of hearing the stories about how we were abused and misused. Just like my 40-something-year-old nephew. Like, I ain't trying to hear that, but you need to hear this. Just like the Jews say, never again. We're in the never again phase of the next great ADOS exodus. Bob Marley sang it in his song, Exodus, Movement for Jah People. It is the concept that, wow, you don't got to stay there just because you was born there, just because you live there. Move around. Move around. Meet people like you. Meet people like, Strictly. Meet people like BA, the DA. Meet people like Zed. This is my first venture, not my first, but maybe second or so, venture into the diaspora. And Mike, you've got much to share, my brother. And you a kick-ass dude. I know you are. Kick-ass.
Well, I'm gonna have to share another time because I got a meeting starting in about 4 minutes. It's been a pleasure speaking to everyone tonight.
I'm gonna finish in one. You a kick-ass dude. We need your dialogue. We need your narrative.
Gotta go, bro.
We need your perspective.
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you.
Peace.
Avec coming through. Let's continue this time sometime tomorrow later on tonight.
All right. You guys have a good one. I'll talk to you later, Strick. See you later, brother.
Good night.
Good night, gentlemen.